let's go into this, guys. The way I see it is me and Bob are kind of more on the meta side. Jeremiah more on the. In fact, let's just introduce ourselves. Bob, you go first.
Yeah, this is Bob Gowan, Iron Grandpa of the Collecto Group.
Yep, yep. Went to Worlds with him and Josh Tie Fighter Gasser. Like I said, and like I've said in my past videos, we didn't really do that well, but we had a great time at Worlds. It was great seeing everybody. Um, but Bob Gowan did earn the name Iron Grandpa. All right, Jeremiah, introduce yourself to everybody.
Uh, my name is Jeremiah Myers. I'm a pretty casual player. Been just starting out with the meta side of things. I've been playing since 2014 or 2015.
Oh my gosh, you're a
Nice.
baby.
I know.
He's getting there. He's getting there. But Josh might come in later on in the recording to talk about some of the super rares and chases. He unfortunately he can't get here right now, but between the three of us, we should be able to dissect these pieces enough so that you all know what is good for a sealed event, what is good for your collection, and what you need to hold on to. Okay, so starting off with number one, we have the common Captain America. Um, he does start with a 10 movement running shot, 11 attack, 18 defense toughness, and a 3 damage without outwit on his 90-point line. 5 range, he has a 45-point line that makes him a charge piece instead of a running shot piece with 8 movement, 11 attack, 17 combat reflexes, and a 3 damage. Traded energy shield deflection and leadership. Do we like this piece at all, guys?
In sealed,
Man.
yes.
Yeah,
Sealed,
and sealed would be good.
sealed is
Good.
solid at either line. It depends on what you need. I mean, if you want to run, you need the outwit. You pick it up at 90 points. Otherwise, run them low because you want to get down to those close combat clicks once you get
Yeah.
them in there.
Yeah.
Yep. And then that brings us into our first generic of the set, and the generics in this set are freaking awesome. I love them all. But this
I
is
do like them.
this is the shield operative. 15 points for the shield team ability. Uh, that alone is almost makes it worth the cost just to put this on your force. Because a lot of times you're going to make a build and you'll have 40 points left over and you just don't know what to do with it. If you're running a soldier or spy or some way to get those onto your theme team, this guy's great to just add to your force to get that team ability on there or to get an extra person with his shield team ability. He does have stealth with combat reflexes and close combat expert. So he's really just sitting back and waiting for your opponent to come to him. But the biggest part about these generics is when they come out on other characters' leaderships, which we'll go into later. So I think this guy's going to see meta just because of some of the leadership traits on some of the other characters. Jeremiah, how do you feel about
As someone who runs shield a lot and soldier and spy,
him?
I love it, especially with them having close combat expert. That is close combat expert, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So with them having close combat expert, it makes them actually useful to be carried up, regardless of with the shield ability or not, because that means if they get in and are able to get an attack off, or you're able to roll out of it, or they're able to get targeted, they can still then make an attack for 2 damage, which if they don't have a reducer, that's still 2 damage with an 11 attack.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Very good at taking out support pieces on your opponent's team.
definitely, and having stealth as well. I really like it. I think it'll be really good with the Peggy Prime from Disney Plus.
There you go.
Well, Eric's right. He's going to see meta play, but he's not going to be on the starting force. He's going to be used through the leadership to be brought in.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't waste 15 points to put him on my starting team, but boy, if I was running some type of leadership character that has it, I'd be bringing him in every chance I could.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when you're bringing him in with the leadership trait, it's basically paying 0 points to get an extra shield person on the team. Which, when you can
Yep,
do that, why pay the 15?
absolutely.
Exactly.
And the second generic we're going to talk about is the Hydra agent. He does have the Hydra team ability. I don't know the last time that we saw this, but I had to relearn what the Hydra team ability did. It's basically just PD for those of you that also need to relearn it. Just PD team ability. He has a 6 movement running shot with pulse wave, and running shot pulse wave is all you really need to know about this guy. He's very good.
He is the best of the bunch of the generics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that is his power set. Not only does he have pulse wave, but last 2 clicks he picks up range combat expert, which boosts his attack. But more importantly, he's brought in by so many different characters and boosts the character's attack um, that he's brought in on. It's just, for me, it's just outrageous. Um, the flexibility and what he brings to the table
Mm-hmm.
with his team ability as well as the power set. Nothing else. You could TK him up and he could, nerf somebody just by a pulse wave and wipe out a POG team.
Well, what I
You
really
know,
like about this is he has a 3 movement running shot with a 2
yes.
range
Yep.
pulse wave. So even if he starts on the same line as your friendly characters, he
Right.
can running shot for 3 and get them out of the range of his pulse wave. And on top of
Correct.
that, pulse wave is one of those powers that we haven't seen a lot of, and whenever we do see it, it doesn't generally get played. So it's a power that we don't really, a lot of people in the game don't really understand how powerful it is. They just know it's really powerful. The main reason you want to use pulse wave because it doesn't go through stop clicks like some
No.
pieces can. But what it does do is uh, reset pick a powers. Pretty much it resets all durations. So if something says pick a power at the beginning of the turn, like say they're playing Hope Summers and Hope Summers picks shape change and super senses. If you pulse wave Hope Summers, it resets her duration, and she no longer has super senses or shape change during your turn. So that's where the power of Pulse Wave is really going to come in handy for you. Jeremiah, you like him?
I think it's pretty good. I think, for you're running a soldier spy team, which we've seen a lot of. This is the perfect set to go after Disney Plus because Disney Plus brought in a lot of those pieces that let you run some of those, like a lot of the generics, really well.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be perfect for those kind of teams. I was just actually looking at some of the older Hydra pieces, and there's a lot more than you'd think, but they just never really saw play for that keyword. Because like a really good one actually is the Rise and Fall Multiple Man. He has Hydra keyword.
Hmm.
So you have, and Silver Samurai, which also wasn't a terrible piece. Um, but the Empire set had Taskmaster and Madam Hydra, and Madam Hydra had the follow-up ability for Hydra keyword. So she could also see play. If you try to make, I don't know if Hydra will be a meta team as of yet, but
I don't think that's a
for
meta team. That's a really fun team. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
exactly,
but I
Well,
yeah,
exactly,
I don't think it sees meta play on a Hydra theme team. This is just another
right,
piece that, like Bob said, is going to come
yeah.
in on the leadership things and can just
exactly.
reset, like I was saying, just reset all those durations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it also takes care of all those. If you run into the Mystic teams that are running the 10-point Mystic characters, you can run them up there and you can pulse wave them all for one, and for 15 points, you take out 2 or 3 of them. He's paid for himself already,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
like the Lokis.
Yeah, that and like the pogs that don't cost anything. Pretty much anything you
Right.
don't want to deal with one of your main characters, this guy he can deal with them.
Exactly.
Now for Winter Soldier and Hawkeye, I put them down as skippable on our video in my notes. I don't like either of these characters, so if you guys want to say anything about them, go for it.
I like the follow-up ability.
You like the
Oh,
follow-up
yeah.
Sorry, go
ability?
ahead, Bob. I do, but go ahead, Bob. Sorry.
I was just gonna say one. I wouldn't play Winter Soldier and even sealed, but Hawkeye, I could see him being played in sealed just because of his power set, where you've got running shot, with 2 arrows, 7 range, and then it runs into range combat expert. But that's the only place I would play him is in a sealed event.
I feel like you'd
Right.
have to have a really bad booster to run this guy.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Which Bob
Which we all
we
know.
know you're used to, Bob. Okay, so that brings us into Falcon. He has a pretty cool senses. It succeeds on 4 through 6, but only for range attacks. If you have some way to keep this guy in the back, I mean, it works, but he's a charge piece. So he's going to be up and close to your opponent. I don't see this piece being anywhere near good.
And
Nope.
this is one that drives me nuts. They gave him energy shield deflection on a charge piece on the first 2 clicks.
Yeah, it's like, and then senses from range.
Right.
Uh,
Nuts.
A really good senses from range.
right.
Yeah, from range. But
And what
he's got no move and attack from range.
he's charge
He'll third
point.
click.
You know, if
Yes,
he started
exactly.
with the running shot and perplex top dial, it might be, something to talk about maybe in a sealed, but he's terrible.
He really
Mindless one. This is our third generic. This is the piece that's going to take over for Moloid when Moloid rotates out next year. Really cheap Empower piece with a mystical team ability. He is 5 points more than Moloid. You lose out on the Underworld team ability. You gain the Mystics team ability. You also lose out on the sidestep. But it's about the same clicks long, same amount of clicks. Moloid was 2 clicks long with toughness, whereas Mindless one is just straight up 3 clicks long.
This one's also free with a leadership
Yes,
bring in.
free with a leadership bring in, which so was Moloid, but no one
Oh,
played
is it?
no one played the Mole Man that brought him in because he was
well.
terrible.
Well, the good thing about it is if you really want to take that 50, get that 15 points, it's going to cost you some damage. And you better
Mhm.
one hit it, or you're going to take 2 clicks of damage.
hmm
It's the Mystic Team ability.
Yeah, and most of the time, if a character has a 3 damage, they don't want to waste that 3 damage on a generic piece. Okay,
As you
so
found out, Steel Event.
yeah, very annoying,
It is.
but it's super good, and like Bob said, another piece that can just come in on the leadership traits, and that's where these generic pieces are really going to shine.
Mhm.
It takes us into Gorilla Man, who is 60 points with a follow-up for Wakanda. Other than that, no move and attack, but he does hit hard if he can get the opportunity to do it. I don't like this piece either.
I'd leave
Yeah,
him in the box.
and Wakanda really hasn't. It's gotten a lot of keywords lately, but it hasn't been. None of them have been really that great.
hmm
Even with the follow up ability, you still need a way to get him up there.
Yeah, and
And
you would think that with how well they do a lot of close combat pieces like Sky Tyrant and Sicarian Iron Man, that they would understand a decent way to make a good Wakanda keyword piece. Or a good Gorilla Man at least, but this is terrible. And that
I
takes
mean,
us in.
he has great keywords. That's the really sad part.
Yeah,
Besides just Wakanda, he has great
Yeah,
keywords.
he's got a ton of them. I mean,
Mhm.
he would be so versatile if there was some use for him.
Yeah,
but everything he does, there's another piece out there for that keyword that does it better
And
yep.
cheaper.
and for less points. Yeah. That takes us into Patriot, which I don't see Patriot being a piece that's played outside of for his team up card. His team
Yeah.
up card says if Patriot is part of the listed theme team, which is Avengers, he has if 3 or more friendly characters, or sorry, Young Avengers. If 3 or more friendly characters with the Young Avengers keyword are on the map, the first time each friendly character would be KO'd, instead turn them to their last non-KO click, then roll a d6 and heal them equal to half of the result. Protected Pulse Wave. This team up card, and I feel like we've seen this before with the 5 whenever in House of X. I think Hope Summers or maybe it was Elixir. There's a team up card that did something like that for them, but it was for the keyword of the 5. And the 5 was always a keyword that got overlooked by X-Men, just like a lot of keywords do. But with this set, Young Avengers might actually see play.
Yes, I
Um,
agree.
there's, I don't think it's there, but people might take a flyer on it and say, "I love Young Avengers. Let me see if I can do it," because there are a lot of great young Avengers in this set,
Mhm.
and this team up card really makes it that much more playable. He has defend and leadership, charge piece with a 10 attack, 3 damage, quake.
At 40 points, he's not bad. He's a filler, is the way I would look at it. If you need to fill out a young Avengers team, you'd add him on. That's your trying to make your theme team.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we'll get into this, but I like it because there's a piece we're going to talk about called Reptile,
Right.
who basically just gets healed up to top click, or he does get healed up to top click on 50% of the time, and he can take one of those times and just heal him all the way to top click. One of those times that you missed the roll and heal him to top.
Yeah.
So,
I,
yeah, I like him, but we'll see how good Young Avengers are going forward. That takes us to Speed, who is a tie-up piece with hypersonic speed, super senses, and shape change. He gets really bad after the first click, but if you can keep him on that top click, he's good. I don't see this guy seeing any play. He does have the Young Avengers keyword, but I don't think he's the one you reach for on that team.
well, I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, personally, I'd leave him in the box, but you hit those three middle clicks and you're pretty much stuck. You're a target.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jeremiah,
Fair.
do you like the Young Avengers keyword in this set?
From what I've seen, it's cool we got it back, but I don't think it's going to see anything unless we get more Young Avengers moving forward. But I think by the time we do, these ones will be phased out. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Kind of
and
up in the air.
looking back, some of the Young Avengers we do have, you got the 30-point Scarlet Witch from War of the Realms, who's decent.
Does she
Uh,
have Young Avengers?
she does. The super
Okay.
rare Hulkling from Empire,
And
along with
Wiccan.
Wiccan and the Loki that had the rally die where he could just replace himself.
Yeah.
Those aren't terrible.
No,
Honestly, I forgot about those ones.
and there's a lot of good, like, there's a lot of fun stuff that you can do with Young Avengers right now. I just don't know if it's meta.
Right.
In fact, I doubt it is, but it's with this set bringing it back. They brought it back strong as opposed to how they do
They
with other, like Wakanda, like we were just talking about Wakanda. Wakanda got brought back in this set and it's terrible. Young Avengers got brought back in this set and it's really good.
Yep.
Okay, so that takes us to Astral Doctor Strange, who I think is probably the worst generic in the set, just because there's only one character that can bring him in. And he
Mhm.
also doesn't have the mystical team ability. He's 15 points for enhancement. That's it. Which, I
Well,
was talking about the mindless one, he's 15 points for empower, but he also has a mystical team ability. And
well,
there's so
there's a
many
way.
and there's so many other characters that can bring in mindless one.
Yeah, I agree. But you can give them the team ability with the mindful one, but that's later on down the road. You
Hmm.
can't fix that. And, we kind of discussed around it, but if you really want to run these guys to give enhancement to Doctor Strange, I wouldn't. I agree, unless you want to pay the points for the mindful one, to have him on your team to give him that team ability, and it's only while they're adjacent to him. I I wouldn't bring him in either. Honestly.
No, you're really only running this guy if you're running Doctor Strange and bringing them in. Which that's the same with all the generics, but Doctor Strange, I feel like it's going to see a lot less teams and the characters that can bring in the other pieces. This one might not see a lot of meta play.
I don't think Doctor Strange is going to see a lot of meta play.
Yeah.
I'd
Uh,
play him, but he's a piece down the road.
yeah.
Well, we're all waiting for two things right now. One, we're waiting for the watch list, and then the other thing, we're waiting for the rules changes coming with the Batman set. So
Right.
Correct.
And then we're waiting for the rules change on the Spider-Man set because that's when they're bringing out changes to terrain markers.
right.
So there's a lot of new rules changes coming down the pipeline, and we're all kind of waiting on those. But uh, thinking forward that way doesn't really help in building
No,
your team for an event that you have coming up next month.
Yeah.
But that being said, Astral Doctor Strange is decent if you are running Doctor Strange only.
He's
And we'll
definitely
get
one you
into
want
him.
to just bring in with leadership.
Yeah.
right.
That takes us to Black Panther, who's 75 or 25. You're really only playing him on his 25-point line because he is just a charge piece. And he's good for a cheap swap in for Avengers. He might not be the piece that you reach for a 25-point swap. He does have charge and stealth trade or on his special movement, and then flurry, but only if he occupies hindering terrain. But it's just a 3 movement charge. You're really just paying the 25 points for the leadership if you don't have it on your force already. Yeah, and I ran Avenger swap at Worlds, and I don't think that I would reach for this guy at all.
Well, yeah. I mean, does Skinny Steve Rogers have the Avengers keyword?
No,
No.
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 no,
Anything.
yeah, I would reach for the Daredevil from War of the Realms, the
Okay.
uncommon one, before I reach for this guy.
Yeah. I mean, if he had charge and flurry, just straight charge and flurry, I would be super stoked for him, especially at the 25-point line. But since they tied it into hindering,
Well, even if he had Blades top dial or some way, if he had something else going for him, then yeah, maybe. But
now I will tell you that in Silver Age teams, he's going to be great
he will
with
be
the
great.
ID.
Yep.
Bringing him in on the ID, it's going to
Yes.
surprise people and it's going to wreck somebody's team.
hmm Completely agree there. You do have to be careful though, because if you leave an attacker out, he will be able to KO your Black Panther and just score those 25 points.
Well, the idea of bringing him in for the IDs, you're bringing him in for a kill shot. So
hmm
you've got to make sure he pays for himself. And if you take out a 40 or 50-point character with the flurry, you gladly give up that 30 points because you've already put your opponent at disadvantage. He's playing from behind then.
Right. And going into Wong, I know Jeremiah's excited about this piece. It is not the
Love this
Wong
piece.
from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is Wong, the actual Wong. It actually looks more like the ancient one from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But
It is the comic book long
Mhm.
yep,
from my youth, long before you two gentlemen were born.
yes, sir. Yeah, Bob, we'll leave those comics up to you.
Okay, bud. Strange Tales.
Yep. He does have a team up card for Doctor Strange. If Wong and the listed friendly character are on the map, they both can use Mastermind, but only to choose friendly characters with a mystical keyword. And then what really drives him forward is his traded phasing teleport. And then once per turn, when adjacent friendly character with a mystical keyword begins a move, after resolutions, you may place Wong in a square adjacent to them. And then energy shield deflection and willpower on his special on defense. So he's 40 points. He also gets brought in by other characters. I think it might just be Doctor Strange as well for him. But
Yes.
when you can bring in, see, I don't know if you would ever bring him in with the leadership because he's 40 points for enhancement. The only way I would play him is if I had the team up card for Doctor Strange so I could grant Doctor Strange Mastermind. But besides that, he's good action economy. You can carry somebody else up with your, teleporters for mystical, whether it's Scarlet Witch or magic, and then place him adjacent to everybody. But I feel like 40 points in the meta is way too much for that.
I can see one instance to bring him in, Eric, and that's if you got like Doctor Strange based and you're trying to save him, and you've got somebody that has no move and attack that's going to kill your character. You bring him in, and then he force blasts him away from your Doctor Strange.
Yeah, and that's another thing when the knockback rules come in with Batman Team
Correct.
Up, his
Yes.
Force Blast might be a much bigger deal than what it is
Right.
right now. But at the same time, I see what you're saying.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I can see one instance to bring him in is and it's save your character and to force blast somebody away from your team to try and save your team from getting wrecked.
Mhm.
That's the only reason to bring him in.
Mhm. Mhm. Jeremiah, you really liked him.
I really like his, that dimensional gateway thing.
Yeah.
Moving him up is just great. He does have support on a later line, but he doesn't really have the attack to kind of work with support. Um, Honestly, I mean, yeah, 40 points is a lot, especially with some of these things you can kind of get around. I know the super rare magic from the storyline OP has good carry ability, so if you're running that, you may not need Wong. So I don't know. It's definitely something where, for me personally, I need to get my hands on him and actually kind of run with him a little bit to see if he works with my personal playstyle, whether he'd be worth the 40 points or not for a meta team or even just a team that you're playing for just whatever event you're running for.
Yeah. And me and Bob ran with him a little bit in a sealed event, and he didn't do too bad. But a lot of the times you wanted to carry him instead of using that power so that you had the enhancement when you were running shot.
Right.
Right.
So it's good in a way, pretty much just for action economy. That's the way I look at it. Is if, but he's not good enough to be added to your force just based on that alone. Because yeah, you get a little bit of action economy with him, but what is he doing for it?
Yeah. I would not build him into a starting team.
Right. And then Iron Man, I said he was skippable as well. I do not like Iron Man. That was a terrible Iron
It's
Man.
it's really
Well,
sad.
they've got his dial reversed. If the dial was reversed at 50 points, I'd play him,
Yep.
or at least try to play him.
I'd play him in a
But
sealed. But
yeah,
even in a sealed, if I pull this guy, he's going back in the booster.
absolutely. He's unplayable.
Yep.
Well, what's bad about this lately is we have not had, besides Sakari and Iron Man, we have not had a good Iron Man except for they were chases.
Yep.
And that's the issue is we are not getting a good Kerr or even super rare Iron Man. Maybe in this set, but it
We've
has
got
not been great.
you know, we've got some variations of Iron Man that if you want an Iron Man, you're going to be able to find one you like later on in the set.
Okay.
No, but Jeremiah, I think you're right. The last time I saw a Kerr Iron Man hit the map, it was the shifting focus Iron Man.
Those are fantastic.
Those were fantastic. But that's the last time that I've ever seen a common, uncommon, rare Iron Man actually played.
Mm-hmm.
But talking into a piece that is going to see a lot of play is Mantis. She's
Yes.
got a really great rally dice. It's rally die on 2 of your friendly attack rolls, and then free, remove one of Mantis's rally die to remove an action token from a friendly character within range and line of. So she's got to be up a little bit more in the action than a lot of pieces would want to with her power, with her dial. 4 clicks long with just senses. But at the same time, you know, how many times do you see yourselves late game just really hoping you hit that leadership roll or really hit that willpower roll just so you can get an extra attack and maybe score some points? This piece lets it happen just without even trying. So I like her a lot. With the Perplex and the Guardians team ability on top of it, so that your wild cards can copy it, it's very good. I really like this piece.
And 25 points for Perplex alone is not a bad deal.
hmm This is the
And
25 point piece that I would reach for on an Avengers
yeah,
swap.
Yeah.
that's
Well,
got good
and
keywords. You've
it
got good
does.
keywords too. You can put her on a cosmic team, martial arts team. Right?
Yeah, and Batman team up will probably make martial artist a lot better.
Yeah.
Right now, martial artist probably isn't the best keyword to put her on. The best keyword to put her on is cosmic because everything good goes into cosmic. But also with this set, Guardians of the Galaxy gets a little bit more power to it. And Avengers was kind of is itching for lower point pieces. This might fit into a lot of people's Avengers swap.
Well, and the Guardians team ability is a blind side, and it has been since it got released. Because
Yes.
you don't think about it until you're trying to perplex down someone. It's like, oh, nope, you can't.
Mm-mm.
And I think the same will happen with the Batman set if they have the Outsiders team ability, because it was the same, but we have not seen it in a very long time.
Yeah, it was in JLU on a couple pieces, right?
It may have been a JLU, but that was when I was taking my break.
Fair
I
enough.
didn't play that set.
Fair enough. Wonder Man. The more I look at Wonder Man, the more I like him. So he's got to team up with Beast. If Wonder Man and the listed friendly character are on the map, they both modify attack and damage +1. The reason why I like this team up card is there is a Beast from, I want to say it was Empire, and I want to say it was a common, that if he got placed, he could make a free
Yes.
attack. So if you can run this guy and that beast together, he also had Empower. Run this guy and that beast together, this guy's hitting 12 for 4, and then with the Empower it's 12 for 5 with an Outwit. And then you can pay 5 points for his trait that says when Wonder Man would be KO'd, you may instead replace him with a number 27 Wonder Man on click number 9, then roll a d6 and heal him equal to half of the result. So it's an instead of KO effect, so even if they are able to chew through this dial, they're not killing anything. And I feel like it would take at least 3 actions to kill this guy, 3 attacks. Um, Even if they did outwit the Invincible and hit him for 4, puts him on click 5 with invulnerability. At that point, their high damage piece has already done his attack, so they're probably hitting with a 3 damage or a 4 damage, putting him on last click, and then third attack would kill him. But that's how I see it. I feel like this piece, with the Masters of Evil keyword as well, could see play. This is definitely the best attacking piece that we've gotten so far.
Well, obviously, you're going to play him at 70 points and pay the 5 points because to me, I wouldn't play him unless I'm going to have that swap in at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the top dial with the outwit, invincible, and I think you're right. It's going to take at least three. It's going to take at least three hits to get him down, to get him switched over. Then you're going to have to deal with whatever you roll into with the replacement. So
The
you're
issue
talking,
that it runs into is you kind of have to build around him. Um,
yes.
so I like him. I don't think I don't know what I said
He's,
before. I like him. I don't know if you'll see a lot of meta play, but I'm definitely
I,
going to play test with him and
well,
see
I
what he
mean,
can do.
you're going to build with Avengers, so yeah. I mean, unless you're building with Avengers, I mean, his keywords aren't all that good, with the exception of scientist, really.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
uh,
and you also have to think that Chase Beast has Avengers as well,
yes.
and getting them on a
So
team up together, letting them hit that much harder, outwitting their defensive powers, even if it's protected outwit.
yes, well, that's
It's
half your build, though.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. He's got to be built around.
Right.
So I put him on fun list for now. You definitely play him in a sealed without a
Yes.
question. As far as meta goes,
Definitely.
I'll say no for the meta, but I'm definitely going to take a closer look at this guy.
Go ahead, Jeremiah.
I was just saying, yeah, he's perfect for sealed.
Yes.
Um, the outwit's great. Invincible is perfect, especially ever since it got unbenched. Um, but this is also, I think, the first common with Invincible we've had with since the ability came back.
That's true.
Because the last time we saw it, it was a chase, or no, it wasn't a chase. It was a super rare because it was the super rare Thor from War of the Realms, and then we got the rare with Invincible from Disney Plus, and this is the first time as we've seen it in the commons and uncommons, which is very important for just seeing powers that are coming back after being benched.
Yes. Yes. Very good point.
Yeah, I would say if you pull him in seal, you definitely need to play him.
Hmm.
But as far as meta, there's just too many other characters that, even though he's got this big long dial in replacement, I think there's
Yeah,
too many other characters that are more efficient than he is to get you what he does.
Yeah, and you're going to run into that problem with all these pieces, really, until we get into the rares. There's usually something that does everything it does a little bit better.
But, by and far, I think Jeremiah's right, Eric. This is a super fun set. I think they did a real good job with the synergy between all the pieces, and I think it's going to be, really fun to run these pieces in fun games.
for sure.
Speaking of really fun pieces and keywords that are being brought back, let's talk about Red Guardian. Red Guardian. Bob, you remember this
Yeah,
piece? Yeah, you have fun with
I
him?
do. I remember
Yeah,
me trying to run him as a charge piece.
yeah. He looks like a charge piece though,
He does.
but he's a running shot piece, and he does have a team up for Soldier theme, Jeremiah. And it says if
Ooh,
Red Guardian is part of the listed theme team, he has At the beginning of your turn, you may choose Empower or Enhancement. Friendly characters with the Winter Guard keyword can use the chosen power until you choose again. Which I think is funny that it's a soldier themed team, but you have to run Winter Guard for you to take advantage of it. But that does,
he is himself. He is
yeah,
Winter Guard. He's a friendly character. So
exactly.
having Empower or Enhancement is great for what 50 points. He's
50
a person that can
points.
do damage,
And we haven't
has
talked about,
leadership.
yeah, and we haven't talked about the thing that he does. Like we were talking
Yeah.
about,
Right.
thing that he does better than anybody else in the game does at the moment. His special on defense. It says energy shield deflection, invulnerability. Once per game, when Red Guardian or an adjacent friendly character would be hit, they may evade the attack instead. So
Yeah.
it's basically just one free time where they hit that high defense on your character. Like if you're running a soldier themed team with Green Lantern, if they hit that high defense, finally, you're able to say no, you didn't hit it.
Right.
I evaded it. This is great because especially with some of the pieces coming out, I know the Wonder Woman, Death Metal Wonder Woman has a special defensive power that says whenever her or an adjacent friendly character are missed, you deal one penetrating damage to the attacker. There's a
Hmm.
lot more of those kind of powers coming into the game, so this piece might fit into those teams. The problem is he only has Soldier and Winter Guard keywords, so he's not going to see a lot of play. But for your
Well,
unthemed teams, he might see it.
well, there's a lot of. I mean, been checking through it. There are a ton of pieces with the soldier keyword in this set,
Hmm.
and I can see you teaming him up with Soldier Supreme, for example,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
and he pops it out. You make the attack, he pops it out, and all of a sudden, everyone on your team's healing.
Hmm.
They get a click of healing with Soldier Supreme special in combination with this. And there's I don't I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but there are a ton of um, characters where if they miss on the super senses, that they're dealing penetrating damage too.
Yep.
So if you pair them up, if you can't pair them up, keyword wise. And as I said, I didn't check. But I know with Soldier Supreme he works, and you may be healing your whole team
Yeah, and
if you're one of the soldier team.
as far as those kind of powers go, where they deal penetrating damage to your opponent when they miss, the
Yeah,
only characters I can think of off the top of my head is Death Metal Wonder Woman. But I know there are others in the game, and I think there's some in this set that say the same
there are
thing.
several. There's several,
Hmm.
and we will get
Jeremiah,
to that.
he going on your soldier theme?
Probably, especially with that team up card. So I'm going to be looking for that team up card a lot. Um, with my soldier team that I've built, especially with next summer we're going to lose a lot of our soldiers that were really good, or at least the big one, right? For making 1776 Spider-Man was a big part of my soldier team, and so was Green Lantern. So that's going to allow for pieces from Disney Plus to shine a lot more. And like I had mentioned, with Disney Plus being released right before this set, we're going to see a lot of those soldiers are going to find some play with Soldier, Shield, and Spy are going to find some play
Hmm.
with the
Yeah.
merging of these two sets.
Yes, especially with the Captain Carter Prime and bringing them all
Hmm.
onto Shield, and then you have, oh, who was it? Abigail Brand. There's a
I
lot
don't
that
think
you
I've
can do
seen
with Soldier
her.
right now.
Yeah,
And another soldier is Maria Hill.
want.
Do
She
you
is,
want?
Yes, I love this piece.
We will make sure you get one, Jeremiah.
yeah,
Thank you.
I think we already have a couple. Um,
I,
Good.
so Maria Hill, she does come in when Nick Fury rolls his leadership. She has stealth, precision strike, 17 willpower, and a 3 damage with leadership as well. So she can pop out shield operatives as well as Nick Fury. I don't see this piece being built into a team either. This is another piece that's going to come out on leadership roles, but is coming out on Nick Fury's leadership roles, and I don't know if Nick Fury is going to see any meta play. Definitely a fun piece to play in a sealed, though.
well, there is one reason to play her, Eric, and that's if you hit a 6 on her leadership, she gets to take the token off of field operatives. I mean, if they're out there, I mean that's
Yeah.
invaluable to keep them untokened up because you want to keep putting those tokens on, to pump up your damage.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, and
so
that goes
but
into action economy. How many of them are actually how many of your shield operatives are actually making an action that turn?
Well,
Because you only
she
have
does have
4.
the team up card.
She does have the team up card with Nick Fury. If Maria Hill and the listed friendly character are on the map, they can both use Mastermind, but only to choose friendly characters with a shield keyword. So a lot like the Wong team up card with Doctor Strange. Pretty much the same thing. Uh, I like it. I do like Mastermind a lot. I think Mastermind is probably the most powerful defensive power that you could ask for because it doesn't require a rollout. It's not. I mean, you're not taking any damage. You are just moving the damage to a character that's less important. But that being said, I don't like this. I don't like Nick Fury and I don't like Mariah Hill.
I understand.
Well, we're gonna get into
I
it,
might.
but the Nick Fury in this set doesn't have stealth. He doesn't have outwit.
Yeah,
It's it's not Nick Fury.
He's backwards. His dial's backwards. Just
Yep.
looking at it
it's
right now.
it's the ultimate Nick Fury. So that's what the problem is.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Okay, that
Anyway,
takes us into the Hydra officer who comes in for Baron Mordo, or sorry, not Baron Mordo, but Red Skull. He is 25 points with the Hydra team ability. He does have a special on his damage, just like Maria Hill does. It's the same thing, really, but for Hydra officers. It says leadership. When Hydra officer uses it and succeeds, you may instead generate a Hydra agent on click number 1. Now,
And I would bring her in.
What was that?
Well, I would bring her in
Yeah,
with
I
Red
would bring in
Skull.
the Hydra. Yeah, every time.
Absolutely. To keep those tokens off of my possible pulse waivers. Absolutely.
Hmm.
And he's 15 points less than Maria Hill
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, which
and
I don't
Mastermind.
understand that at all. Yeah, he's so much better than Maria Hill,
Yeah.
and he's less points. So
Yep.
I don't know if they just value the Shield team ability that much higher than the Hydra team ability.
Yep.
It
I
did.
think it's because of the damage potential because you can pump up damage.
Hmm. That and just a free perplex to range for Shield team abilities, but I like the Hydra officer and operative a lot better than I do like the Shield operative and officer Maria Hill. And that takes us to Bucky. Bucky comes in at 75 or 40 points, 75-point line. He is a running shot pen psych piece who can dish out the damage, actually. Running shot for 10, 6 range, Avengers team ability. 11 attack pen psych, 18 defense and vulnerability, 3 damage outwit, and traded super senses. And when he uses it and succeeds, after resolutions, remove an action token from him.
He's so much better than Captain America.
So much better
So
than Captain America. It's so
He's
weird.
so much better than Buck. He's so much better than Winter Soldier.
He's better than that too. We skipped over Winter Soldier. This guy's good.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
yes, we did. And there was a
Oops.
reason for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it says because we did Winter Soldier and Hawkeye, and Hawkeye
Yeah.
was the better of the two, and it still wasn't great.
Right. So I like Bucky a lot. He is a 1-for-1 swap for the low point Captain America on Avengers swaps. Besides that, he also has the pass keyword, so we can go on to a Doom team, and the shield keyword, so we can go on with Captain Britain Prime. Captain, what's his name?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
Captain Carter. Captain Carter Prime.
Yeah.
And the soldier keyword.
Well,
Yep.
so if you run this Bucky with this team up card with Captain America, which gives them both perplex, he'd be really good with the swap Captain America.
Yes. Yes. There is something to be said for that. At the same time, for 40 points, you also get Hope Summers. So it again runs into one of those things on of there's other pieces in the game that does what he does better.
Right.
That being said, Hope Summers is unique, so you can't run two of her. This is a decent 40-point piece to bring in for an Avengers swap, though, if you want to run two low-point Captain Americas.
I literally only saw him at 75, so
Yeah.
40
He's got
does make him a little bit
50-point
better.
line. It's not bad at 50. He's not a running shot beast like he is at
Right.
the other line. But
Yeah, he's an enhancement that can make an attack.
honestly, if I was going to play him, if I didn't run him at 75-point line, I wouldn't run him myself.
Yeah.
He's a solid primary attacker at 75
Yes.
points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's got that outwit, and that super senses is just crazy.
The Super Senses is very good. You have to remember he is not protected outwit. I don't like any piece that's over 60 points on my meta team that's not protected outwit.
We've been seeing a
Well,
lot less of protected outwit, though.
Um, I beg to differ. Once we get into the super rares and the rares, you're gonna see a lot more
Gotcha.
of it.
Gotcha.
yes, you are.
The
You're
the
going to see safeguard and protected both.
the issue with his 75-point line is you can outwit his super senses and then just shoot him with pen psych for
Yes.
or hit him with
Sure.
a flurry exploit, and he's dead. So I like him at the 40-point line because he does give enhancement. He can make an attack if he gets put into that position. He's not going to be the main person that your opponent's going to go after. And he is a 1-for-1 swap for Captain America, and he might be a piece that you reach for.
I will say for Popper, he is fantastic at
Yes,
75
for
points.
Popper, he's very good. The uncommon Hawkeye is also skippable.
Don't you get my bullseye.
That's not your bullseye.
He's bullseye.
He's
If
not
you look
bullseye.
at
Technically, he
his
is
name,
bullseye.
I
he's
get
He's
it.
bullseye.
bullseye.
I get it. Okay, Bob. If
I
you want to
know.
talk about him, go for it.
No,
If you're happy with
he
what
is
they did with
totally
your bullseye.
sealed event. Do not play him in meta.
I mean, he has a whole special on attack that depends on him
Yeah.
missing.
Well, I mean, if you don't hit, if you don't hit, you're guaranteed doing damage either way. If you're smart with him. But other than that, yeah, he's totally sealed event. Don't even try and do anything with him, even at 50 points, which is less than the common one. And he does have a wild card, but and it looks like they're trying to bring Thunderbolts back at least to a limited degree because they gave him the Thunderbolt keyword too. So
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Dark
Thunderbolts and
Dark
Dark
Avengers.
Avengers.
Yeah.
yeah,
We'll see what they do with Thunderbolts in the Spider-Man set. But
yep.
Well, with the show coming out, we
yep,
should get something.
yep, should get something. But that takes us into the first piece that has the crazy leadership that can bring out several different pieces. It's Doctor Strange. He has leadership, and when he uses it and succeeds, you may instead generate an astral Doctor Strange on click number 1. If a 6 was rolled, you may instead generate a Wong on click number 1 if there is not a friendly Wong on the map. Uh, he has a special attack with TK and TK as free, but only to target himself. And then a special on defense that gives him energy shield deflection and super senses. Another 40-point piece that is a 1-for-1 swap with Cap, and I really like him. I think we've seen how powerful free TK is,
Yes.
and free TK gives him a 14 square reach.
Yeah.
And yeah, so well, not only that, but it's also positioning. If he gets tied up with another character, he can just free TK himself away from that character.
Yeah.
Or you can use it like hypersonic, where he runs up, shoots, and then TK back.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
you can yo-yo him. You can self yo-yo.
Yep. It's a self yo-yo. And for 40 points, that's
Yeah.
a lot.
I
Now,
would
again,
say
he's not protected outwit either,
no.
but
But he's cheaper at 40 points than 75. Or even, I think, what is, yeah, 75 at his top click. So,
mm-hmm. If I play
I
him,
would definitely.
I'm playing him at 40.
Yep. I
and,
agree.
and you're, yeah, and you're still getting the perplex and outwit at a later dial. So, not
Mm-hmm.
bad at all.
No, and then he bleeds into support with regen. So
And you still have the traded leadership where you can bring in the other characters.
yes,
Exactly.
he's a great support piece for 40 points, and I might just reach for him on my Avengers team. But he can also go on an X-Men team or a Mystical team. And here we go into the first semi-meta piece that actually might be meta. It's number 23, Reptile. He has a trait called Prehistoric Transformation. At the beginning of your turn, you may turn Reptile to click number 1, 2, or 3. And then his second trait is when Reptile would be KO'd by an opposing effect, you may roll a d6, 4 through 6, turn him to click number 1 instead. Protected Pulse Wave. The reason why this is incredibly powerful is because it doesn't say KO'd by an opposing attack. Any effect your opponent has that KOs this character will turn him to top quick 50% of the time. I really like this piece. There's a lot of pieces that can make it easier for him to hit that 4 through 6, along with a lot of tarot cards that a lot of people like to play, like the Queen of Wands, that can make it a 3 through 6 instead. Yeah, this is the 40-point piece that I would probably reach for with my Avengers swap, opposite of Hope Summers.
Yeah. The only weakness is like you said with the tarot cards, if someone has in cap or mind control says that they take their damage after their mind control, though they're in cap. That's the only way I can see to get through it.
No, it doesn't get through it either because
Why? What?
because he would be KO'd by an opposing effect.
Okay. All right. I see what you're saying.
That's why it's powerful. There's no way around him rolling that d6 at the end.
Because it's not a stop click. Yeah. I
Right.
see.
Another fantastic piece for Popper because he's an uncommon.
Yes,
Oh,
fantastic.
absolutely.
Yes, fantastic piece for Popper. He's basically 40 points that your opponent's going to try to avoid the entire time.
And
Not
he's
to
got move
mention
and attack.
that, not to mention he's got, full dial shape change. You may not even get a chance to hit him.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah, but besides Avengers, he does have the animal keyword. Animal keyword got a lot stronger in
mhm.
this set as well. Along with
Mystical.
Young Avengers that we were talking about earlier. This is the piece that, I was thinking about when I said Young Avengers got powerful in this set. He's got great
He may,
keywords.
he may have the best keyword set in the set. I mean, if you look
Yeah.
at his keywords, it just goes across the board.
Yeah, I would say outside of like some of the supers and the chases for sure. This is probably the first, like, this is the lowest rarity meta piece that we've gotten in a while.
The smart thing they did is they did make him unique, so you can only play one per team. So,
Yes, very smart. At least they made him unique.
yes.
All right.
And,
So,
he has, as you were talking about, he has the one advantage that no other character where you turn his dial has. You can't kill him. Because
right.
a lot of them, you turn to the last dial, if they get hit, they die. He won't die.
Well, a lot of people with
50% of the
that
time.
kind of trait or special ability, like special power, says when it's KO'd by an opposing attack, right? His says KO'd by an opposing effect, which I
Fact.
don't know if that's what they're going to go with going forward, that kind of wording, but
Yeah,
that
because
that wording makes him that much more powerful.
oh, absolutely, because that eliminates poison. That
Hmm.
eliminates mystic damage. I mean, if
Yep.
he attacks a mystic character and it would kill him, it won't kill him.
Yep.
Because that's an opposing effect.
And if you build right, you can make it so that his D6 will always go off if you're able to build right with him. Because there are some, as we're going to get into later, there's another low-costed piece with the Young Avengers keyword, at least that she at least shares the Young Avengers keyword that can
Mhm.
make it so that he automatically hits every time. But that takes us into Vision, and I really like Vision. He's 45 points, and he has a special trait. Once per game, power action, generate up to 2 number 24 visions on click number 9. If Vision started the game on click number 9, it can't generate characters and has a 0 point value for all effects, including scoring protected pulse wave. I love bringing in pieces that don't cost any points when your opponent KOs them, because you can basically just throw them up into the action um, without any, fear of them dying. You can mastermind to them without any fear of giving your opponent points. Uh, and for 45 points, just to bring in 2 mastermind fodder pieces, that's huge because that allows your mastermind piece, which is usually your main beat stick, to avoid 2 attacks. On top of that, he does have enhancement with a 3 damage, super senses, and an 11 attack with incap, 10 movement, and he's a flyer with phasing. I don't see this guy. The main way I see this guy being played is just power actioning, dropping those 2 characters on click number 9 with their empower, and then using somebody to carry them up and use them as
Are you going to
mastermind
switch him
fodder.
out then, Everett? Are you
What was
going to
that?
switch him out after you drop him? Are you on your Avenger team? Would you drop the two characters and then switch them out?
You
You
can't.
can't.
You can't. It's a
Yes.
power action to generate the 2.
Yeah. Well, you don't even have to carry them up. They can go up with their own phasing. There's no way to stop them. That's what I
Yeah.
really like.
Well,
You
they
got
can carry your characters up even.
yes. Yeah. I mean, I think it's awesome. I mean, I'm in accord with you that first thing I would do is give them that power action and pop those two suckers out.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah, and on top of that, if you're in a sticky situation, you want to get your character out of there, they can just phase that character away from the action to a better position. I this For 45 points, this character does a lot. You're getting you're getting 3 characters for the cost of 1. Um,
Yeah.
and it really depends on what you're playing, but if you're playing a mastermind piece like a Hulkling or I don't know
Yeah.
what else with the Avengers keyword has mastermind not outwittable, but even on an unthemed team, if you want to play something like Blackheart, this piece would be extremely strong because Blackheart's not hitting its leadership every turn.
Well, I mean, this is part of the Young Avenger core that we were talking about. You should have him on your Young Avengers team.
Oh, for sure.
And robot keyword, I think for 45 points, you could fit him on a robot team really easily, too.
Mm-hmm.
That would work really good with the new that would work really well with WizKid and some of the holograms from X of Swords.
I haven't even looked at WizKid.
Yeah.
Well, he takes the stats from robots, which means he's taking the stats from your Juggernaut or your Apocalypse holograms, and
Mm,
then you're probably going to use with this vision. You could probably use the power to boost him up because the holograms only deal their printed damage
right, right.
or
Yeah,
one damage. Sorry,
yeah. Well, and yeah, right. The enhancement in the free empower pieces also is incredibly powerful, but that this is all without mentioning what's on his dial. His
right?
so we're really just talking about the two free pieces. His dial, I don't. He's super easy to kill. He's kind of a glass cannon, but he's there just to pop out those two pieces anyways. That enhancement is just an added bonus to what you get whenever you do pay the points for this character, in my mind. Um, okay, so that's Vision, and we'll go into Iron Lad, who is another young Avenger, comes in at 75 or 50 points. He's your running shot pen sight piece for that keyword. It is our first Nathaniel Richards. He has the armor keyword Council of Kings, Exiles, Future, Past, and Young Avengers. Running shot with a 10 speed, 11 attack, pen psych, 18 with invulnerability, super senses, and willpower, and a 3 damage with probability control. He is the follow up trait character for Young Avengers as well. This piece probably also goes on a Young Avengers theme team just as the main attacker. Like I said, I don't know if Young Avengers is really there in the meta because I don't know if they have a really good attacker. And I don't think this guy's it. But he's super good in a sealed event.
Just the PC alone makes him solid.
Mm-hmm. PC, pen damage, willpower, and a follow-up trait. He's very good in a sealed. But outside of that, I don't see him seeing a lot of play. The weakest Kang.
This one does have a lad.
What was that, Bob?
I said, unless you're going to try and put together a Council of Kang theme team.
Even then, I
I
don't
did
know if
that.
he makes the cut.
Yeah, you're right.
I did that a long time ago.
Okay, and then let's talk about Nick Fury a little bit. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Nick Fury. And you're right, Jeremiah. They completely got his style backwards.
Yup.
Yep.
Sad.
But he does have a team up for Shield keyword team. If Nick Fury is part of the listed theme team, he has once per turn a friendly character with a Shield keyword can use free. And then it just ends there. Clicks Nexus. Get on your game. Let me get on AC Runs real fast and read it.
Well, the keywords are not on.
Avengers, Shield.
Oh, they don't have the team up cards.
You may need to
Yeah,
update. I
Avengers,
have it.
Shield, and Spy.
Do we know what that team up card does at all?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So for Nick Fury,
Yeah.
it is once per turn a friendly character with a shield keyword can use. Oh, never mind. I think it. Yeah, no, that's weird. I wonder if
I
it's
don't
the
know.
shield.
It might be the
I wonder
shield
if
team
maybe the
ability.
shield team ability. Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And that kind of makes him playable.
with the team up card, which
With
means
the
you need to
team
get
up
the team
card.
up card.
Yeah, and I don't think it sees any meta play at all.
Oh, no, I don't either. It's too
Yeah.
many points.
Yep.
Doing nothing.
And then we'll go into the number 100, or sorry, the number 27 Wonder Man, who is 100 points. The only way I see this guy coming in is on the common Wonder Man's trait. Even then, like we were talking about, it does give that Wonder Man a stop click, but I don't know if it's situational and when you want to bring this guy in because you're giving your opponent an additional 30 points if you pay the 5 points for
Correct.
the trait.
Right.
So it's very situational on if you want to like if he's not going to get attacked the next turn, you can regenerate up a little bit, but otherwise, unless he's killing the character and they're out of actions for that turn, so you're going to be able to kill him the next during your turn. I don't see this guy coming in play too much.
Now, one thing about it is I just noticed is if you do bring him in, someone wants to hit him, he is mystical, so he's got mystic team ability, so it's going to cost them if they really want to
Yeah, and like I
take that.
said, it's going to be situational. If they're on their last click and this will kill their last piece if they attack it, then sure, you'd bring them in. But otherwise, unless he can
No,
survive the rest of the turn, he's definitely not coming in. And even then, you might question it because it's just an extra 30 points you're giving up.
and he's outwittable too.
That
Top
too.
everything else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So they can outwit that region and then just have
Yeah.
him sit there. That takes us to probably what I think is the worst piece in the set. It's Drac. He is 45
Would be the most
points.
annoying piece of the set.
Ah, he might not be the worst piece. He's probably not the
Maybe the
worst
most
piece.
annoying.
He's my least favorite piece in the set. I'll just leave it at that. 10 movement charge, 11 attack blades, 18 defense with super senses, and when Drax uses it and succeeds, after resolution, steal the attacker when penetrating damage, protected outwit. So there's another super sense piece that we're talking about with Red Guardian. If he evades an attack, he well, no, it's not when he evades the attack, it's when he succeeds on super senses. So it would not work with Red Guardian. But he does have a trait, and this is why I think he's the worst piece in the set. It says unless Drax is the only character on your force, when he would KO an opposing character with an attack, instead turn them to their last non-KO click and heal Drax 2 clicks. I would never play this piece. If you guys have anything good to say about it, go for it.
He's the
Why
only
would you
modern
ever
Drax we
attack
have.
him?
Is he? No, I thought we got one in War of the Realms.
No.
Ooh, fair
Well,
enough.
I look at it this way. Why would you ever attack him?
Exactly.
I
I
mean,
wouldn't.
yeah, leave him in the box.
Leave him in the box. Crimson Dynamo. Um, decent piece, but way overcosted. 75 points, 10 movement running shot, 11 attack pen psych, 18 defense with invincible, 4 damage, improved targeting hindering, and a trait that says Crimson Dynamo and adjacent friendly characters, defensive powers have protected outwit. That
That's
might be
not
worth the 75 points, but I don't know.
get him off the top 2 clicks.
Yeah, if you get him off of the top 3 clicks, he's still good with 11 for
Yeah,
4. He's good and sealed. He's a good sealed piece outside of that.
I agree. Sealed. He'd be
Sealed.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
Sealed. Mindful one. Bob, you were talking about this piece. I'll let you take over here.
All right. This is kind of my sleeper piece of the set. I really like him. 40 points. He's a little costly, but those first 2 clicks where you can hand out the Mystic Team ability, I really like that. For example, if you're playing those silly Astral Stranges, that's one way to hand it out to them. What I really think is you run them with, believe it or not, the chase you pulled, uh, Dormammu Red, because
Oh yeah.
Dormammu Red,
Yep.
he has the ability to pop out not only the mindless ones but also the Hydra Ages.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make your whole team have the Mystic Team ability. If you don't have the 40 points, having a 25-point Mystic Healer is a pretty good, filler. He's not going to see meta play. I just don't right now. I just don't think he's going to see meta play.
He
I
he's
just really like what he does, and
mm-hmm.
because if nothing else, if you run them at 40, you've got yourself a, a piece that if someone bases you, you can run up and smack him for three because he's got charged with three damage. And if you want to deal with him, it's going to take two hits to kill him, and he'll take a couple clicks of mystic damage. 40 points. Like I said, I really like him. He's got the monster and mystical keywords, so you can fit him in with a lot of stuff. And just giving your whole team mystics, just to me is just one way to mete out damage to your opponent, where you don't
with,
have to do anything
without rolling dice.
without rolling dice, which is always a good thing.
Yep. So the problem that I have with this guy and why I don't think he's going to see really any play, Bob, I hate to disagree with you here, but there's a 25-point piece in Wonder Woman 80th called Strife that gave people the mystical team ability, I think within her range. And she didn't see any play. I think most people just left her in the box as well.
They did.
But I do like the support at 25 points. You know, at 25 points, I think is where you're going to see him most of the time. There's the amount of mystical pieces that, and monsters for that matter, the amount of pieces in general that are getting stop clicks is starting to get insane. And if you're able to support them off of that stop click, all the better. It's going to take an extra attack for your opponent to kill them, especially with some of the objects that are in the game now, like the Soul Sword. This,
Well,
yeah,
I'd agree with you on that, Eric. And it may be the case until they change the equip rule, because then all you have to do is with those characters with the stop clicks, is just throw the soul sword on for 10 points.
yep.
This one may just sit in the box. It may never come out. I just think it's nifty. I really like it,
He does
and I
fun
may try
things.
and do something with it. Like
Hmm.
I said, I think the one to run it with is the one that you pulled, Dormammu Red.
Yeah,
But putting him on a Mystics team, how many times have we moaned and groaned about like the Scarlet Witch, who's our carrier that didn't have the Mystic team ability?
right. Yeah, because
Oh,
she's got a pretty long dial for 30 points. I don't know how many
he
times
does.
it's taken 2 attacks to kill her.
Yep, absolutely. So
Jeremiah, anything to add on this one?
Uh, I like his defense is pretty consistent, but I wish it was just the 18 all the way around, or like the 17 is great, but it's like the one click after,
Yeah, they got a random 17 in there. That's weird.
that's a really awesome 17 because he has support and
Right,
defend.
right.
But
Why?
when he loses,
I just don't
well,
understand why he's got 5 clicks and 4 of them are 18, and the 117 is on click 2.
right?
and it's going to
What's
get bypassed most of the time anyway.
yeah?
Yeah,
Okay, let's talk about a piece that I do like. Blue Marvel. I really like Blue Marvel. So looking at him, I would run him at 50 points, but he does come in at 150 as well. Uh, but he's not tentpole worthy though. So I'm just going to look at his 50-point dial. If you guys have anything to say about his 150, you can. But he does have a trait called antimatter energy absorption, force blast, pulse wave. And when Blue Marvel is targeted by a ranged attack after resolutions, heal him 1 click and remove an action token from him. His special on defense is stop, invulnerability, regeneration, and super senses. So this piece, he does go on Avenger swap. He is a 50-point piece, and Avenger Swap has so many 50-point pieces that I don't even know what to do with them all. The reason why I like him is he's such a short dial. He's only 4 clicks at 50 points. If somebody hits him from range onto that stop click and then he heals up 1 click, well, just on a swap in general, if you go against a person that has a lot of range pieces, this piece might not ever die. So being able to swap him out and swap him in, I think is really where this guy shines. I don't know if he's good enough, if he's dealing enough damage to make it worth playing him, but if it's going to take some play testing, and if it comes up, that he's not that great, at least you're causing your opponent to try to plan around his defensive power. You guys can go ahead.
I like him. I think if he doesn't see play now, I think he'll see play after the rule changes because of the fourth blast.
Hmm.
Um, with the knockback rules coming back in, you start running elevation maps or barriers, walls. It's going to meet on additional damage. Additionally, that pulse wave. He's got traded pulse wave. Come on, that's ridiculous. Traded pulse wave, traded force blast. Nothing's outwittable. 4 clicks, a stop click. Come on, for 50 points, yeah, I'm gonna throw him on a team.
He's
You can
got
go on a soldier team, a scientist team, a pass team, an adventures team. Gee whiz.
anything with a stop click that can be healed off of.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah, that pulse wave is a big thing too because he can, if he's charging in and he gets charged and swarmed, pulse wave.
Yep.
Hmm.
That's perfect. See, that's one of the only times where I see like a charge piece with pulse wave is actually good. Most of the time, it's a charge piece. It doesn't work out, but this one actually does because it also has a stop click.
Well, it feels like they
He
just
can
gave him
live getting
like
swarmed.
yeah, and he actually looks like a charge piece afterwards. After that
Yes.
top click, it's like they just gave him pulse wave on top of everything else just because they can, because
Right.
it does fit his character. But
And we have a plethora of Pog creators out there now. And Pulse, that's why I think we're seeing so much Pulse Wave is all the Pog teams are characters that create Pogs. This is just another way to get rid of Pogs. And he's got a sharp range again, like you were talking about, Eric.
hmm
He can run up 4 Pulse Wave and he's outside the range of everyone with his Pulse Wave of his team. He runs up 4 Pulse Waves. He's beyond his characters, his teammates.
hmm and I will say, with the amount of power creep that we've seen in the game, I won't be surprised if they give pulse wave another look and change it again sometime soon. Probably not, within the next year, but within the next two, just to make it so that some of those like ultra meta pieces like Thanos and Apocalypse are a little bit easier to KO, you know.
Well, I
Well,
mean, this guy does great against Apocalypse because he can take out Apocalypse's Pogs.
Right.
yeah.
But I mean,
And
single target pulse wave probably needs to come back, and they need to take off protected pulse wave from stop clicks.
there, there's there's a couple. They're already starting to tweak with it in this set, Eric. There's a couple characters that are doing pulse wave for 2 damage,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll get to them. One of them's coming up real soon that I'm really high on.
I
Uh,
noticed that as well, and even the ones that don't deal more damage, they're usually doing something else with their pulse wave.
yes,
Um, Now, Blue Marvel aside, because like I said, it kind of feels like they just threw pulse wave on him because they could. You know, most pulse waves in today's game do something else. Like Party Thor gives everyone an action token. Same with the Jubilee from the XOS slop event. So I would not be surprised if Pulse Wave gets a change going forward over the next couple of years. And then also whenever the changes come back for knockback, whenever it comes back, this piece will be amazing for that as well. Now, Stature, another great piece, another 25-point Avenger, also comes in at 50 points, but you're really just running her at 25. She has a special trait that says free, choose one. Stature can use the chosen effects until you choose again. Protected Pulse Wave. Close Combat Expert and Colossal, or Range Combat Expert, range of 4, and Tiny. Her special on movement is Charge and Plasticity. She has Quake with a 10 attack, 17 defense, toughness, 2 damage, shape change. So this character is always hitting 11 for 3, no matter what. Unless she quakes, obviously, then it's 11 for 2. But for 25 points, with the reach that she has, if she goes colossal, yeah, this piece is great. This is a great 25-point piece.
I
like
agree.
like I was saying with Black Panther, if they gave him one extra thing, he would be decent. This piece feels like it got like three extra things on top of what Black Panther has.
Yes, I agree. I think charge plasticity, and you need plasticity with the charges. You're not going to charge unless you're doing giant damage symbol with close combat expert. I mean,
Right.
Right.
so I mean, plasticity is just an extra bonus. But that's how I'd run her. Is at 25 points, do it that way. She's got protected pulse wave, so you're gonna have to go in and kill her.
Hmm.
Someone tries to base her, she's got plasticity plus, she's a colossal. She gets the bonus for colossal. She's gonna get away one way or another.
Hmm. And it's just another young Avenger that you can throw onto
Yep,
your team.
absolutely.
Um, I haven't really looked at her 50-point line. Is it any good? It's
It's not
just,
terrible.
it's not terrible.
No, it's not. It's not
It's not
terrible, but I
terrible.
don't think I don't think she's worth 50 points.
No, she's not. You're playing her at 25. 50 points, you're getting
Yep.
just three more clicks of the same thing. She just
And
has
no, and no,
Vol instead of
and no
toughness.
damage output. You're not getting any increased damage output.
No. So yeah, 25 points for stature. I like it. Like I said, I think Mantis is going to be the one I reach for, but she's very solid for 25 points. Prodigy comes in at 35, and this is the piece that I was talking about. Works really well with Reptile. She has a rally on opposing attack rolls of 5. When another friendly character within range and line of fire would roll a single d6, you may remove one of Prodigy's rally dice to replace that die. So anytime one of your friendly characters would roll for senses, impervious, shape change, leadership, willpower, as long as she has a rally die on her card, she's able to make it automatically hit. She has another trait, or she just has a trait called Unlock All My Hidden Knowledge. When an opposing character within 6 squares in line of fire makes an attack, you may choose a standard power the attacker can use, and Prodigy can use the chosen power until you choose again. I I haven't really looked at this trait, but that sounds extremely powerful for 35 points. If someone makes an attack with running shot, you can just take running shot from them. Now she is only hitting for 2 damage, but she does have outwit. I feel like this piece can, have a little bit of damage output on top of her rally die to make her worth the 35 points. Like I feel like
One
that
thing
rally,
there,
yeah.
it's an attack power, not movement power.
Oh, so even worse.
Unless I read the power of the attack. Oh, maybe I read it wrong. Standard power. You're right.
Okay, so it is
Okay.
so it is any standard power. So I mean, you could take PC, you could
Yeah.
take what that character does really well and make it your own, just like any other pick a power piece or most other pick a power pieces. This I feel like she can do a lot for your team. She really enables your team. Now, the thing that chaps me about this piece is she does not have the Avengers keyword. She only has the Young Avengers keyword, and it's just another piece that makes X-Men that much better.
Yeah.
My fighter would be happy.
What was that, Bob?
I said the TIE fighter will be happy about that.
Yeah, TIE Fighter will be happy. Anybody else that runs X-Men will be happy about this piece. Now, 35 points does fit a lot of X-Men pieces, so I don't even know if they would reach for this one, but Avengers would love to
Well,
have this piece.
yeah.
Young
Well,
Avengers
Young
loves it.
Avengers. If you're gonna run Young Avengers and you're gonna run Reptile, you can run this piece with it.
Oh, well,
Don't bother
you're running this
pulling
piece
out.
on a Young Avengers team,
Yeah.
irregardless. Yeah, even if you
Right
don't run
now,
Reptile.
right now, the Young Avengers that I would pick, as of right now, from what we've looked at, is you're running Reptile, you're running. If you have the team up card, then maybe Patriot, but otherwise it's Reptile, Iron Lad, um, this piece, Stature, and Vision. That's a solid from this set alone. That's solid.
Yeah, and all those pieces will probably see some, not all of them. Some of those pieces will see the meta at some point, just probably not with the Young Avengers keyword.
Yeah.
Um, you know, barring Patriot, I don't know if Patriot will. Vision probably will with some of the mastermind pieces that we have in the game. Um, Iron Lad, probably not. Reptile, you know, I would play him. I don't know if a lot of high level meta players people would play him, but he sounds like a lot of fun to me. Sounds like he's really annoying to my opponent, and just the mental game of it, of them not wanting to attack him, sounds like a lot of fun. But yeah, Young Avengers definitely came back strong in this set, and Prodigy just makes them that much stronger. I just really wish. I mean, she has the Avengers team ability. Why doesn't she have the Avengers keyword? Just another thing, just like the Genesis, like mystical team ability, but. Ugh. Okay, so the worst Young Avenger in the set. Talking about all the good ones. Talk about Novar, and I don't really want to talk about this guy too much. He's got a
Would have
stop
been
click on
hard.
his last click. It says invulnerability, willpower, and after resolutions of any action, if Novar isn't the only character on the map, KO him. He has a special on damage that he only gets on that last click. It's called This Fight is Over. It says Battle Fury and Close Combat Expert, and he does have traded super senses. Yeah, I mean, 50 points for Perplex. That's what you're paying for.
Leave him in the
Yeah, because
box.
you're gonna want you the only way you'd play him is if you're playing a team one Bizarro event, he'd be perfect.
No,
No, he
because
wouldn't.
because
No,
Yeah, he's the
no,
only piece. Yeah,
he
yeah, he's not.
KOs.
Never mind. I'm wrong.
nope.
So so honestly, you're gonna want a support piece, and you're gonna be paying 50 points for a support piece to support him to keep healing him up because your opponents are going to target him immediately,
Well, yeah,
and
because
they're going to get that easy
he
50
gets to that
points.
stop click so easy, and then he's just
Yeah,
dead.
yep, it's sad, super
Yeah.
sad.
So, but see, now that leads us into another great young Avenger in Miss Marvel, and this one does have the Avengers keyword, so I can be a little bit happier. She has improved movement characters with 10 movement, charge, 10 attack, quake, 17 defense, impervious, 3 damage, shape change, rally on friendly attack rolls of 2. Plasticity. When an opposing character within line of fire would roll a single d6, you may remove Miss Marvel's rally die to replace that die. So it's basically the opposite of Prodigy. She's making sure your opponent fails on all of his single d6 rolls, or if they're rolling blades or something along those lines. Just making it a really low roll. Great rally mechanic. I really like it. And then she has a trait that says morphogenetics. Free, choose one. Miss Marvel can use the chosen effects until you choose again. Protected pulse wave. Modify defense +1 and tiny, or precision strike and normal damage symbol, or close combat expert and giant.
This is your primary attacker for Young Avengers.
This is your primary attacker for Young Avengers. Let me take a look at her 70-point line, make sure.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
looking at right now, and I mean, charge, quake, shape change, it's pretty solid.
yeah, she's kind of a glass cannon. Couple hits of exploited damage, she goes down. She does have the shape change rollout. I think Young
And
Avengers needs a piece that's protected outwit for it to be a thing.
yeah,
But she's very decent. I would run her at 35 for sure. Not wasting too much, and I would run her mainly for her rally mechanic. But she can do other things. I mean, she's hitting 11 for 4 when she chooses giant. So, and with a was that a 6 square reach? So she's a support piece that can deal damage, and I love support pieces that can deal damage.
it's useful for
Very
sure.
useful. Bob, anything to add?
Catcher. I, I, I really don't have anything to say. I don't particularly care for her. It's not my play style. I'd run Stature before I run her for 10 points less, but
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Um, Red Widow at 45. This is your Winter Guard, like beat stick. She has a 10 movement with a special. It says that grants charge, flurry, and stealth. Traded Blades Claw's Fangs, and once per turn when Red Widow uses it and a 1 or 2 is rolled, after resolution, she may make a close attack. And that's with
Good
exploit weakness.
lord.
she is the definition of a glass cannon.
Well, you are hitting. Well, I mean, if you roll a 1 or a 2 with your blades, you're doing 2 attacks,
Hmm.
and once per turn, you can get a third attack in. All of those are penetrating. So, I mean,
Yep.
it's a glass canyon, but you're taking out even one of their heavier hitters because you're at least hitting for 2 each time.
Yep. I guess this, but without any reducers or rollouts, it is the definition of a glass cannon.
Yeah.
Whatever she does, she's dead the next turn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a 45-point piece should do anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
she's worth her points at that point, you know.
I mean,
I couldn't
you're
see her
you're going to
being
be KOing a 70-point piece
yeah, and
easily with
I
this.
couldn't see her being any less points, and if she was any more, she'd be unplayable.
Absolutely. I agree.
But
It's tantamount to Sky Tyrant, only without the movement ability. You TK her up, send her in,
yeah,
do
and
the
if
slashing attack.
you can give her the cloak for 5 points to give her a 7 movement charge.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You still play Sky Tyrant over this because he can
Oh,
move.
absolutely.
He's like a self yo-yo in himself. So, but
The only thing is if you play it like I played, you play her like I played God Killer. You do your attacks from stealth. It
hmm
forces them to come in. They can't pop up from range. They've got to come in at least close and kill them.
yep, yeah, yeah. You're just banking on the idea that they don't have an improved targeted
Right.
range character.
I like
Okay,
it.
I like
And
it.
the sculpt's great.
Oh, the sculpt is amazing. Really, once you get into the rares of this set, the sculpts are awesome. Even some of the uncommons are really cool, like the Doctor Strange. The Doctor Strange has a really cool sculpt in this set, but I do really like the Red Widow sculpt. And that takes us into the main meta piece of the set, which is Khazar. Thank God they made him unique. He has a special trait, and this is why he's going to see meta play. It says at the beginning of the game, generate a Sabu bystander, max of 1. When Khazar is given a move action after resolutions, you may move another friendly character with a shared keyword or a friendly Zabu bystander up to half of its speed value. He does have some great keywords. Animal is getting stronger. Really helps with the the lockjaw, taxi, uh, and some other thing. Like you can move your chase beast into position, but you can also do that with a mystical keyword, and that also gives you the super rare magic who's on the watch list, and we'll have to see what her changes are going to be to see if that's effective. But he also has the ruler and the warrior keyword, both of which can go on with the grand prize pieces that we got from this set, and grants him an extra keyword as well. This piece is going to see meta play. A free movement for your character to get them into a better position, or just to increase the range of your alpha strike, is insane. On top of that, his bystander is not bad either. It's an 8 movement charge piece with 10 attack blades and 17 defense toughness and 2 damage battle fury. So he does get through all your shape change pieces, can't be mind controlled, all that good stuff. But effectively, he will have an 8 speed charge with Khazar on the map. I really like this piece. Um, uh, that goes without saying. This piece is going to be on a lot of teams going forward.
I can
Um,
see him and Reptile on animal teams making a comeback. Absolutely.
Yep.
well, and with the next set, the Batman team up, we know of at least 2 animals that could see meta play if you think
Scooby.
about it, because you have Scooby with with just the common has probability control, which is solid, but Dexstar will
Mm-hmm.
be solid as well because it does have protected outwit, poison, and when it does use poison, it has protected outwit. So you're just going to be keeping that piece up in its face, and it's also hypersonic blades precision strike.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't carry him because he has battle fury. So
Right. Well, and we'll get into another animal in this set. Hopefully, if we can get to the legacy cards, Cosmo,
Yeah.
Right.
with his ranged outwit and his mind control and everything else he does. Um, Animal is going to make a strong comeback. This set did a lot of good by a lot of keywords,
Mystical
especially some new ones
Avengers.
that are coming back.
Yeah.
But yeah, he depending on what they do with magic from the slop, this piece is. I mean, he's going to see a lot of play regardless. But if they don't change magic from slop, then he is going to see almost every table is going to have a Kazar on it.
Yeah, he's too flexible. I mean, his keywords are, he's got too many good keywords.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Mockingbird comes in at 40 points. She does have a team up for Hawkeye, which
Hawkeye.
both of the Hawkeyes in this set are terrible. But
But you can use the Hawkeye from For the Realms, I believe.
the common,
That one's yeah, that one's not terrible.
that one's not
It's
terrible.
actually pretty,
Yeah. She's a
but
good
I don't
50
think it's
point
going to
attacker.
be. Yeah, it's not going to see meta play. I don't think though.
No, this is a fun piece. Um, if a listed friendly character is on the map, Mockingbird has free make an attack, but only to target a character that was hit by a friendly character named Hawkeye this turn. So you get a free attack, but I
Well,
don't I don't think that's good enough for the Hawkeyes that are in the set. They're not good enough to play with this piece,
for
or even
Golden Age,
even in the old sets.
well, for Golden Age, that would be really good with the old Age of Ultron movie set Hawkeye,
Yes. Well,
who
I think
is
he's actually in.
target 3.
I think he's actually in Silver Age.
Is he? No, because he doesn't have the dial on the back of his card, so I didn't know if that
Oh,
would be Silver Age or not.
I'm not sure.
That's an old set now.
Well, they were talking
So
about. I mean, there's a Hawkeye that made the watch list that is in Silver Age.
that's
So
the
there are some really good Hawkeyes that have been released way back when, but none of them are modern right now.
right.
There's not a good Hawkeye.
No, and they may have planned to use her with the legacy card Hawkeye. I don't know. I mean, I, I don't particularly care about him with his stats, but he's better than the other two in all honesty.
Yeah.
Uh
Which
huh.
is a terrible thing to say, but
Okay.
you know,
That brings us into Baron Mordo,
yeah, the bear.
the Baron. He's a lot like the Doctor Strange, but doesn't have the free TK. Instead, he has Defend with an 18. I don't know if the Doctor Strange did or not. Let me go back and look actually. Doctor Strange does not have Defend, but has Defender's team ability, so effectively does. Um, Baron Mordo, I he's the weaker of the two wizards in my mind. He does generate mindless ones and
And can heal your
and
Dormammu.
can heal your Dormammu. I yeah, it it depends on the Dormammu, I guess, but I just honestly feel like Doctor Strange is the better choice.
Because yeah, it'd be a mystical team either way, and Doctor Strange is probably better. I don't even know if Dormammu is going to see play. I haven't looked at him yet. So
You know, Red Dormammu would
yeah,
not be
red.
usable for his trait because it says Dormammu and not Red Dormammu.
Yes,
So
if it was
Right.
Red Dormammu, then
yeah,
maybe, but
maybe
the super rare Dormammu is
no.
a little weaker on the defensive side. Let's talk about Star Lord because Star Lord is actually very good, and we're going to ignore his 100 point line. I don't know any time
Fair.
you'd play him at 100 points, but at 30 points, he is a recruiter for Guardians of the Galaxy, and he has a special on attack. At the beginning of your turn, choose two. Star-Lord can use the chosen effects until he chooses again. Energy Explosion, Precision Strike, Pulse Wave, or Star-Lord has free knockback all adjacent opposing characters 2 squares.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. For 30 points, you're getting 8 movement running shot, 10 attack with that special, and 17 defense with energy shield deflection, 2 damage with leadership. Cosmic Guardians of the Galaxy Soldier. This piece there's a lot you can do with it. I mean, anytime you can pick a power on a piece, it's going to see some form of meta play, whether that's at a win a map or something like that. That's like low meta. I don't know if he sees the high meta play at Nationals and Worlds, but that depends on how well Guardians of the Galaxy grows over the next couple sets. Lately, it has grown a lot. He also does bring that team ability to your team if you want to run him on Cosmic or Soldier.
Um, he does have that team up card, which gives him perplex. That's only when they miss with other characters miss a character
I
when he
completely
or
forgot
other.
about this. Yes, I
Yeah, I'm just
completely
looking at
forgot
it
about his
now.
team up card. It's for Guardians of the Galaxy theme team, and if he is part of the listed theme team, he has when a friendly character with the Guardians of the Galaxy keyword misses with an attack, give Star-Lord a plant token. Free, remove up to 3 plant tokens. Until your next turn, Star-Lord can use Perplex and can use it a number of times equal to the number of plant tokens removed. Yeah, so if you get that team up card for 30 points on the Guardians of the Galaxy theme team, he is definitely going on it. Um, if you're
Chase Rocket would be great with him from
Well,
War of the
yeah,
Realms,
yep, yeah. I mean, any
and
any Guardian of the Galaxy theme team is going to have this piece. I don't know what all he will go great with besides Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, he does have that recruiter trait, and that team up card is insanely powerful.
well, you team him up with T'Challa Star Lord is what you do
T'Challa
because
Star
now you're
Lord.
getting from Disney Plus because then he gives minions of Thanos, Ravagers, or Wakanda. They all gain Guardians of the Galaxy keyword when you're building
Oh,
your team.
minions of Thanos. Are there any decent minions of Thanos?
Thanos,
Well, yeah, yeah,
But you can put him on a Thanos team without that because he's got Cosmic.
but
yeah,
yeah, but I mean, you got your Wakanda, which there are some good Wakandas. Um, but a lot of those Wakandas sometimes also have Cosmic. So I don't know. It's something useful if you wanted to do that. Something to think
yeah,
about with like past sets.
yeah. We're just gonna have to see how Guardians of the Galaxy grows. I don't think it's there yet, but this piece does help.
Yeah,
Bob, anything?
No, no, I think you're right. 30-point line.
Okay,
I'm
that takes
looking.
us.
I'm
That,
looking at the when the rule changed. I'm just going. Oh, I can knock back characters 2 squares for free.
yeah,
Okay, all
yeah,
right, yeah.
yeah, without even hitting them. Yep. Yeah, yeah. That leads me to thinking that Force Blast needs to be a free action. But if they're bringing back knockback damage, I don't know if it does. But I've felt that way about a lot of purple powers. Um, that brings us into 35-point Ant-Man, the non-prime, and I feel like I really like this 35-point Ant-Man. So 8 movement with a special, 10 attack with precision strike, 18 defense with super senses, tiny damage symbol, 2 damage with outwit. His special on movement is stealth, and when an adjacent friendly character is, when an adjacent character is given a move or power action after resolutions, you may place Ant-Man adjacent to that character. So just
solid.
like the Atom from JLU.
Well, and this one has Guardians of the Galaxy keyword as well.
Yes.
So
Yep. And the police keyword, so he goes on with, a Spider-Man family team. Goes in with the Flashes. Um, Avengers for Avengers swap.
yep,
I like this piece a lot. Um,
I do
He's tiny.
too.
Awesome.
what was that, Bob?
He's tiny. Outwit, super senses. He's going to get the +1 from range for 35 points. He's going to be nothing but annoying
Yeah.
because
Yep.
you can't modify his attackers' values up to attacking. He's going to be a real pain in the hiney.
Yep. That Guardian's ability really helps him out.
Yep.
That takes us into the Prime. Invincible Ant-Man, 8 movement, running shot, 11 attack with a special, 18 defense with invincible, 3 damage outwit. Now, because he's a prime, he has some crazy traits, so bear with me. The first one is weaponized robot ants. At the beginning of the game, generate a robot ant bystander, max at 4. When Invincible Ant-Man hits with a range attack, after resolutions, generate a robot ant bystander in a square adjacent to a hit target. Second trait, free. Choose one, and Invincible Ant-Man can use the chosen effects until he chooses again. Protected Pulse Wave. Super Senses and Modified Defense +1. Normal damage symbol, modify attack and damage +1. His special on attack is Pulse Wave, and when Invincible Ant-Man uses it, you may choose to use it as if he occupied the squares of all of his robot ant bystanders. If there are 3 or more robot ant bystanders on the map, hit characters are dealt 2 damage instead of 1, and after resolutions, KO all of its robot ant bystanders. Special on defense is a stop click that grants toughness. Oh, I think this is the best prime in the set from what we've seen so far. Those robot ant bystanders are incredibly annoying. They are autonomous with poison. They do fly with a 6 movement and just have toughness. But you really don't want to. You really don't want to waste an action to kill them. So as long as this guy's able to get attacks in, and there are ways to make it so that he can get more than one attack in during a turn, you're getting a robot ant bystander. And when you get up to 3 of them, you can pulse wave from all their squares, and when they're being placed adjacent to your opponent, they have to either kill them or break away from them. And that just wastes an action on their end of things. I really like this prime. I do think he's the best prime in the set.
He is the number 3 prime. I think he's gonna. I really like. The more I look at him, the more I like him. That pulse wave power with the ants. Every time he hits, he's sticking one next to it. If, like you said, if they don't deal with it, they're going to get poisoned. If they do deal with it, they're wasting their action.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets 3 on the board. He's pulse waving for 2. Again, there's part about what we talked about. Pulse wave has been tinkered with. 2 damage from 3 ants. So you're going to catch. You can effectively nerf an entire team.
Mm-hmm.
But, unless they've got protected pulse wave.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
the thing I was talking about is he does have the detective keyword.
yeah.
So we will see when Batman Team Up comes out. But detective is another keyword that's getting stronger. You do have the commissioner there that can make it so he can attack twice in a turn.
Yes.
I
But
think that also detective also brings in shoot, where'd he go? Not he was an uncommon Mobius. Mobius had detective.
Mobius.
I remember.
oh yeah,
Mobius.
Mobius
Yeah.
and Mobius. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it brings him in. It brings in the Plastic Man con. It brings in the Batman and Jarro, Batman and Catwoman combo, and both are really good. It does bring in Venom Wolverine if you want to go that route. There's a lot of great detectives in the game right now, but Batman Team Up is going to make them that much better.
Yep.
I feel like it's a keyword that's almost there, but not quite there yet. And now they have a useful prime to use whenever they do get there.
And since he's tiny from range, his invincible's 19 from range. Invincible.
Hmm.
Start.
Yeah, and his the effects that he chooses are protected pulse waves. So even if they decide to pulse wave you, he still gets a senses roll, and he does modify his defense by 1.
And
So
if he decides to go standard, he gets +1 to his attack, +1 to his damage too.
yeah, so he's hitting 12 for 4 from anywhere on close up or range. That Yeah, this piece is very good. I don't know. As far as the meta goes, the primes that are out there right now are just too good. I don't think he sees it yet,
No, not
but
yet.
but
Number three.
he's one to keep in the back of your mind.
He's number 3 or number 4 in my mind. I mean, you probably still place Emperor Gladiator ahead of him, but he's right after Emperor Gladiator in my opinion.
Yeah, but are you really playing Emperor Gladiator before you play Destroyer? You know?
No, that's Gladiator is number three. That's why I say he's number three
Yeah,
or number four.
fair
Because
enough.
you're either going to play Destroyer or Mad Jim Jaspers right now.
Mm-hmm. And there's no way around that. Okay, so Claw. Bob, me and you looked at Claw when he got unboxed with Scott Porter. Uh,
Yeah,
he's actually fairly decent. He's got the Masters of Evil keyword or team ability, 8 movement with phasing, 10 attack with pen psych, 17 damage with a special, or 17 defense with a special, 2 damage with RCE. Now, his special on defense, we'll go into that first before we talk about his trait. It says super senses but succeeds on 4 through 6. When Claw uses it and fails, you may reduce the damage taken equal to the result protected outwit.
correct. That is awesome.
So let's just stop here and talk about this real fast. Like, senses on 4 through 6 alone protected outwit is insane. So 50% of the time you're not hitting him. But with him able to reduce the damage by the number that he rolled, if he rolled a 3, most characters are only dealing, 3 to 5 damage. So you're really just taking 0 to 2 damage, and that puts him on a regen click. And it's not just regen,
Yeah.
it's regen pulse wave with RCE. This piece is decent for 40 points. Now, where he lacks is his keywords. He just has aim, frightful four, masters of evil, and scientist. The only way this guy sees a map is on a scientist theme team. And I don't think he even will then. I don't think he's meta because I don't think he does enough. And that takes us into his sound construct trait. It says power. Generate a sound construct blocking terrain marker in a square within range and line of fire, max of 1. Free, choose one. Place a sound construct marker in another square within Claw's range and line of fire. Or make a close attack using Claw's printed combat values, but only to target a character adjacent to his sound construct marker regardless of adjacency. So this
That's his
ability,
only.
see, now if they had made it a range attack, I would say
Yeah,
heck yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
But with it being a close attack and him only having a 2 damage on top dial with a 10 attack,
Well,
it
okay.
just doesn't do enough.
If you read it like trying to read it the way they're thinking, it's not Claw himself making the attack, it's the construct.
Right.
So they would have had to so like it would just be his printed values, so you wouldn't even have the penetrating.
Well, if you look at it on his top click, he has 3 damage. So,
Right.
and the other thing is in my mind where they dropped the ball was it's like Eric said, they should have made it a ranged attack because then the pulse wave comes into effect. And since they made the
Right.
change to pulse wave used to be close or ranged attack. Now it's a ranged attack. If it was,
Right.
if he could make a ranged attack and be able to pulse wave through that construct, a lot more useful, especially at 40.
Yeah, they really should have just made it to where he can attack through his construct
Correct.
instead of it just being the construct being the attacker.
Right. Now, with all that being said, he is insanely hard to kill.
Yes.
So keep that. He's going to be on a don't die team. Very good for a don't die team. Um, but I don't think he doesn't do enough damage wise to really make the cut in my mind.
I
Yeah,
agree.
he's not going to see meta play.
No. He'd be fun though. Fun in a sealed or some event that you guys have going forward. But that takes us to Swordsman.
Mhm.
He has the Avengers and Masters of Evil team ability 10 movement charge, 11 attack with a special, 17 defense with a special, 3 damage. His special and attack is Blades Claw's Fangs. When Swordsman uses it, after resolutions, give a hit character an action token. So in cap with Blades, basically. And then his special on defense is Combat Reflexes, Toughness, Super Senses, but only for close attacks. So Combat Reflexes and Toughness traded, and then Super Senses, but only for close attacks. When Swordsman is missed by a close attack, after resolutions, deal the attacker when penetrating damage. Now this special on defense would work with the Red Guardian,
Mhm.
Yes.
but that's 100 points of your team, and I don't fit on a theme team. So I don't think that's worth it. Um, I don't think this piece is good. One range attacker on your opponent's team and he's dead.
Yeah.
He's not good.
Yeah, I
Not a good piece.
leave it in the box.
Yep, leave him in the box. All right, so the Prime Swordsman um, is.
No,
I haven't really looked at this piece too in depth, but it does give a good buff to any bystanders you have on the map. He comes in at 75 or 40 points, has the Cosmic Energy team ability, 10 movement, charge, 12 attack with a special, 18 defense with toughness, 3 damage with shape change. His first trait is called the Katati General. Friendly bystanders within range modify attack +1. If a friendly character named Koi is on the map, friendly bystanders within range modify defense +1. Now, I don't think you'd ever play Koi with this guy, but modifying the attack values of any bystanders that you have on the map, is good enough to run this guy at 40 points. That being said,
Well, and he has.
he does take your
Go
prime
ahead.
slot. What was that?
Well, he has the swordsman's the regular set swordsman's defense power, well at least the super senses part, as a trait, and it works. It's a normal super senses, but
Right.
succeeds four through
And its
six.
senses on 4 through 6 that's protected outwit because he has the cosmic energy team ability.
Yeah,
And then when swordsman or an adjacent friendly character is missed by a close attack after resolutions, deal the attacker 1 penetrating damage. So that trait alone, along with
is
I mean, he's worth his at 40
40
points.
points.
Yeah, 40 points. This character is amazing. Um,
yeah,
his special on attack is Blades Claw's Fangs and free. Choose one. Swordsman can use a chosen effect until you choose again. Energy Explosion, Incap, Pen Psych, Poison, or Precision Strike.
Honestly, I think he'll be choosing precision strike most of the time
With a 6
because he's
range,
gonna.
he can make an attack. Um,
That's fair.
but I don't. Yeah, you're probably right. You're either choosing Precision Strike or Poison.
Yeah.
Oh, Bob, do you like
but
this guy?
no, I just don't. I run pog teams. Again, it comes into the same problem that you have. Are you going to choose him over Mad Jim Jasper or Destroyer?
Nope.
You know,
Nope.
40 points, maybe, I just can't
I
see
do like
it.
his super senses trait.
Well, yeah, I mean, he does a lot of neat stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but,
But he's not worth the chase spot or the prime spot.
No.
no,
No, if you
that's the
can fit
problem.
Mad Jim Jaspers on your team, you fit him in. Otherwise you're
For
running
5 points
Destroyer.
less,
Yeah.
for 5 points less, Destroyer doesn't cost you anything on the sideline.
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay. So Red Skull comes in at 75 or 40 as well. He has the Hydra team ability.
Hmm?
Special on defense, special on damage. Uh, but traded leadership, and when Red Skull uses it and succeeds, you may generate a Hydra agent on click 1. If a 6 was rolled, you may instead generate a Hydra officer on click 1. But you can only generate one Hydra officer at a time. So he's
Yes,
got running shot, poison, 17 defense with combat reflexes, mastermind, and toughness. And once per turn, when Red Skull uses mastermind, to choose a friendly character with a Hydra keyword, and that character is KO'd from the attack. After resolutions, you may generate up to 2 Hydra agents on click number 3.
he's never going to die.
He is never going to die, but
I love him.
he's going to give your opponent a lot of points.
Yeah.
That's, well, I understand. He's never going to die, though.
Yeah. But looking at Hydra agent on click number 3, 6 movement, running shot, 9 attack, pen psych, 16 defense. The difference here is he has a 2 damage instead of a 1 damage with RCE.
But he's got RCE
Yep. So he's hitting 10 for 3 without the pulse wave.
without the pulse whip. Yeah.
So Red Skull, yeah, never going to die because
Yep.
he is constantly going to be generating those those Hydra agents.
Well, I mean, I like him just
Yep.
because he's Red Skull.
Now here's the thing:
Yeah,
you can
same.
outwit that defensive power and take away the
Yeah,
mastermind. So that's the main
yeah,
issue.
yeah. Well,
You
I
can
mean,
definitely tell. Go ahead, Bob. Sorry.
no, go ahead. Go.
I was just, you can definitely tell he is the last rare before the super rares because he has a lot of the some of the abilities that a super rare might have, like a lower slot super rare might have. So I don't know. I think he's definitely fun and worth it. But you do have to keep watch of that. Definitely got to keep watch of that outwit. He's because he's not protected outwit. And yeah, the point thing is a big. We saw that whenever House of X came out with the Krakoan revival. It's
Mm-hmm.
very easy to let your opponent win by points.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. I would, play him on a don't die team possibly. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you got them on a don't die team, you get enough points, even if they're popping off, 15 points here, 15 points there, you're still gonna win. What I don't like is he only got a 5 range. He needs more range for what he does. I do love the full dial poison though.
Yeah.
Really love that.
Well, and
And he's got full
honestly,
dial CCE too.
yes, and the the consistency of popping out those Hydra agents means that you're going to get at least one pulse wave off.
Yes. That's the point. I mean, and that's the answer to um, your Mystic, dealing with your Mystic teams is Pulse Wave because no one takes the damage from the Mystic team ability with the Pulse Wave.
Mm-hmm. That is
Right.
one answer. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going into the super rares here. The first one on the board is Hulk, and they finally gave Hulk an 11-click dial. Feels
About
like
time.
it's about time. Now they made him 200 points too, so
Yes.
it's
It's
definitely a
it's
Hulk.
no
This
immortal
is a
Hulk.
Hulk. This is a
Yes.
Hulk.
It's
He's
no
got,
immortal Hulk, but we'll make it work.
Right, right.
well, he does have 3 stop clicks, guys.
And they're pretty good stop clicks.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, this set, just real quick, this set really brought back the power that we've been missing from the past couple of sets of like low dials, but they do this one thing really well, like Molecule Man. He doesn't cost a lot of points, but he does barrier really, really well. This set brought back the idea of, hey, let's make a 100-point piece or 150, 200-point piece that's just power, that just does all the damage that you could ask it to do, and we'll see what happens. They really brought that back in this set, and this is the first piece that really puts an exclamation point on what this set is about. It's about fun. There's some pieces in this set that we'll see, meta play, but at the end of the day, this set is all about fun. Now this Hulk has a six square reach with his charge, 12 movement, 12 attack, super strength, 19 defense, invincible, 4 damage, close combat expert, top dial. But where his real defensive ability comes in is with his gamma clap. It's traded, and it says once per range attack, when Hulk or an adjacent friendly character would be hit, you may roll 2d6. If you do and your roll is equal to or greater than the attacker's finalized attack roll, the attack automatically misses all targets, and after resolution, deal 1 penetrating damage to the attacker. Protected pulse wave. So,
Yeah.
very good piece. Now the once per range attack, does that how many times would that go off in a turn? Would would that just happen once per turn? Or would that happen, you know, once per range attack per character? So you could use it for each character's range attack.
I would assume once per turn,
I think that's
but
what's I think that's the intent.
That's the
But
intent.
I think that's the intent. Now, whether that's going to be the way it plays out,
Well, the way it
yeah,
reads now, it says once per range attack. So he's able to do it every time or for each separate range attack.
I would
that's
think
what it's
so.
reading right now.
Yes. So as long as they are hitting from range, he doesn't even have to have range to the character that's attacking. He You're getting this rollout for any character that's adjacent to
Well,
Hulk.
he doesn't have range, so it doesn't matter.
Well,
But it
I mean line of fire. I meant line of fire.
line of fire,
Yeah,
correct?
like he doesn't have to. There's nothing stopping
No,
this from going off.
no.
Yeah,
Ah,
so very good trait. His stop click gives regeneration and impervious, but succeeds on 4 through 6 and can reduce penetrating damage. And he has during these stop clicks, he has safeguard outwit.
which he would have anyway, because you can't outwit a stop click.
No, but it's all caps safeguard, so his entire dial.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's the entire down. Okay,
Yes. His special on damage is Battle Fury and Close Combat Expert.
so you won't be mind controlled there.
No.
I did want to correct one thing, and it's what almost all of us do, Eric. His charge is 7 because he's got the Avengers team ability and gives him +1.
Well,
See,
that's a
I thought
reading
that.
thing. Because
Okay,
where is my? I don't have a pack on me, but
it
I
wouldn't be in the
got
pack.
one. What do you want to look at?
You look at
well,
charge.
because if
Charge.
it descends, is it a move? Is it all caps move?
It
Because
says power.
It's an all caps power action, so it doesn't give you the +1 to
it
your movement.
because Avengers
Team
is all
ability
caps
give +1.
move.
Yeah,
Okay.
Avengers is +1 to your movement when you make an all caps move, and charge is
Yeah.
an all caps power. Because I remember that not working several
All
times.
right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is it used to be that way,
Right.
and that's what made the Avengers thing so good
Yeah, because it
because
was
it's
that
like,
extra
oh
move.
yeah,
Now, Bob, you are right. He does have a 7 square reach though, because he is a giant.
yes,
And that also makes him a bigger target.
Bigger target can't be
yes.
equipped.
Well, that plays into that range attack that they set up because since he's a giant, you can't really hide him anywhere.
Mm-mm.
When we're talking about once per ranged attack,
Yeah, so I guess
hiding
everything would be within his line of fire.
right outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
very
the
good.
question is, do you want to build a 200, play him at 200 points and build around him for a meta team?
See,
No,
I would say no, but a lot of people would say yes because Hulk is he's a fan favorite.
If I could see it if he had top dial 5 damage, but 4, even with the CCE 5 meeting out 5 damage is just not enough for 200 points for me.
Yeah, and it's not exploited. You're
No,
not going through impervious rolls.
you're not getting flurry. You're not getting it. It's not going.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fun
So I would say
sealed
no,
event.
but fun, fun,
Yeah.
fun.
Sealed event playing.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, he wins sealed. If you pull this or another 200 point piece, you win sealed.
that's the only issue with seals.
Well, that's the issue with this set. Like it's all fun but it's probably the worst sealed set because all it takes is one person to pull one of these super rares and
Yeah.
they win. The only way they would lose is, I don't know, if they can't hit a single attack, but because it is a dice
So
game at the end of the day, but
so what happens to Bob and Josh when we play sealed?
no,
And
just
we
no one
play each
hits.
other.
You roll off, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then you can't hit.
gents, I'm gonna have to bounce because I
All
have
right.
dinner.
All right, sounds good.
But it's been fun talking,
Yeah,
Take
dude.
care,
and I'm
buddy.
very excited for this set, and I can't wait to see some of it whenever I'm able to make it back. Hopefully on Friday, I can see what you
Yeah.
guys pulled.
Yeah, it was great. It was great talking with you, Jeremiah. Glad you could make it to the round table.
Yes,
Take care, buddy.
Yeah, peace.
you too. Thank you.
All right, Bob, just me and you.
All right, buddy. Echo.
Let's push through. So then we go into Echo, who is 100 points, 10 movement, hypersonic speed, 11 attack, 18 defense with invincible, 3 damage with exploit weakness. Special trait called Cosmic Mimicry. At the beginning of your turn, you may give an Echo token to another character within range, removing it from any other character. Echo can use the displayed standard powers of a character with her Echo token. And then on her last click, she has a stop click that grants invincible.
I like her.
I like her a lot. This is basically it's basically Hope Summers at 100 points, but reverse styled.
I
And
like that
actually,
you can give her echo token to anybody.
yes.
Friend or foe. I like that.
Oh, I
But
love, yeah. If
when you
someone's,
give someone hypersonic with exploit, that's a problem.
well,
And
you
that's
can
a
use
problem.
exploit with hypersonic now, so it's just, yeah. This piece is great if you can give, someone with close combat expert
Yeah,
the mimicry token so that she's hitting 12 for 4.
yeah,
Um,
something like that. I
yeah.
mean, it's 100 points. And again, we're kind of getting into the Hulk category.
hmm
You're hitting 100 points, you're only doing 3 damage. I mean,
Yeah, and that bleeds into, there's a lot of characters that can do a lot more for a lot
yeah,
less. So, does she see meta play? Probably not, but I do like
no,
her.
he's
Um,
fun. I agree. And again, they've only gave her a 5 range.
yeah, well, 100 points can only buy so much, I guess.
I guess so.
For some characters. For others, it feels like it buys so much. But another 100-point character is She-Hulk, but she also has a 50-point dial. And this is a
Yeah,
character I really enjoy. She does have the Avengers, Brute, Celebrity, Defenders, Fantastic Four, Heroes for Hire, and Shield keywords, all great keywords. Team player, team ability, 10 movement charge, 11 attack, quake, 18 defense, invulnerability, 3 damage, perplex. Um, one of the reasons why I like her is her trait. It says, if you don't let me go first, I'm going to come to your house and rip up all your maps.
yeah,
When determining first player, if you aren't first player this game, modify She-Hulk's attack and defense +1.
I
She does
like
fit
it.
on a couple swaps, Fantastic Four and Avengers, and with the Brute keyword and the grand prize pieces, she does also fit on the X-Men keyword swaps. So great piece to swap out of, swap swap in. Well, she would have to be on your starting force because it says when determining first player. So
Right.
you would have to swap out of her if you do win map. But even if you don't, her special on damage is very good, and I do believe she starts with it at the 100-point line. She
But are you
does.
going to play 100? Are you going to play her 100 points, Eric?
I would never play her at 100 points. I would play her at 50.
Right.
But her special on damage does answer a lot of questions that some pieces have problems with, but none of those are going to be hitting your meta team anyways. It says at the beginning of your turn, choose one effect to last until your next turn. Outwit and Perplex, or choose an adjacent friendly character. That character has Safeguard, Outwit, and opposing Perplex.
Like her. I like her power. Her power scheme. It's put together real well in this case.
Yes.
When you look at it, even if you go first, you can still mete out 4 damage, or you quake an entire team. And I think quake is going to become a much more important power again when they bring knockback back in.
Yes.
So, and for 50 points as a team player, I mean, you know, you get somebody like with the Batman team ability, you know, you use her in stealth, get her some protection. I
hmm
like her. She's well worth 50 points.
She's well worth 50 points. And yeah, well worth 50
And she's
points.
got,
And you can swap her out if you win map. I'd
yeah,
probably only play her if I lose map just as an added bonus. Um,
yeah. Well, then she becomes 12 for 4, and then she can mete out 5 damage.
yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
I like her.
Yep. Winter Hulk, worst prime since, what did we say, the prime APOC from House of X?
I believe that's what we finally decided on.
Okay, so let's just not talk about him
Yeah,
and just go straight to the Dormammu that we were talking about earlier. Cosmic Energy and Mystical Team Ability comes in at 125 points with 7 range, double target. Top dial is 8 movement with running shot, 12 attack with a special, 18 defense with invincible, 4 damage with RCE. So he is hitting 13 for 5. His special on attack is Energy Explosion and Pen Psych. He also has knockback. And when Dormammu hits, for each 6 in the attack roll after resolutions, you may generate a -1 on click number 1 adjacent to the hit character. Traded leadership. When Dormammu uses it and succeeds, you may generate a -1 on click number 1. If a 6 was rolled, you may instead generate a Baron Mordo on click number 4, if there is not a friendly Baron Mordo on the map already. Or KO a friendly -1 to heal Dormammu 2 clicks. Very good piece. I don't know if he's worth 125 points, especially after you get him off those top 3 dials. He has a lot of damage output ability. I, you know,
That's
Deity,
exactly
monster, mystical, ruler, all great keywords. I think those are probably the best keywords in the meta right now outside of X-Men. But this guy can go on an X-Men theme team with monster.
my thoughts mirror yours exactly. The top 3 clicks after that, I mean, you lose all move and attack after that.
Yeah,
And
and he goes into mind control with
yeah,
double target, but an improved
yeah,
he does have improved targeting hindering. I just don't see him worth 125 points. Now,
now,
if he was 100 points and they cut off, click 7 to 9, even then, no, probably 75, and they cut off those 3 clicks, maybe. But
well,
without
if
some
you're down
way
on
to
if you're
heal,
down on those 3 clicks, you're losing the game anyway.
yeah, exactly. And without some way to heal or to stop click there, he's just
Well, you're giving up points to healing.
exactly. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you can heal him, but without a stop click there, it, this guy's going to probably die fairly quickly. He's at least going to get off those top 3 clicks by your 3rd turn.
Yep.
200 point Iron Man. This is another piece that had Pulse Wave kind of messed with.
It
He has
is.
the
Yep.
Avengers team ability, 6 range, double target, 8 movement, running shot, 12 attack with a special. 18 defense with impervious, 3 damage with RCE, so he is hitting 13 for 4 from range. He has a trait that says at the beginning of your turn, choose one effect to last until your next turn. Iron Man has free, half speed, and move, or Iron Man has safeguard, outwit. Very solid trait. Uh, you can go offensive route if you want to, but I don't see any time you wouldn't choose the safeguard, outwit, just to stay safe. Special on attack is Energy Explosion and Pulse Wave. When Iron Man uses Pulse Wave, it deals 2 damage instead of 1, and after resolutions, you may choose a hit character for each of Iron Man's action tokens. For each character chosen, remove one of Iron Man's action tokens and give it to that character. Then his stop click is Stop, Regeneration, Toughness, Super Senses, but succeeds on 4 through 6. Another 200 point piece that I wouldn't build around, but some interesting changes might be coming down the pipeline with Pulse Wave.
Well, I mean, I would pick him over the Hulk just because you're doing the damage from range.
Mm-hmm.
But again, three
and it's
stop
Pulse Wave.
clicks. And well, yeah, and you've got Pulse Wave and you've got Energy Explosion with 2 arrows.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you can get some damage out that way, but are you really going to pick a 200-point character that only deals 4 damage, even though he's 11 clicks and has 3 stop clicks? Can you
And
get enough on in that other 100 points?
he doesn't deal exploited damage unless he Pulse
Right.
Waves.
Yes.
Yeah, no, you're not picking this piece to build a meta team around, but he is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Again, if you pull him in sealed, play him.
All right, so we have a couple super rares here. Miss America.
Yeah.
She has hypersonic speed, but gains passenger 2 instead of passenger 0, and combat reflexes, toughness, and willpower on her last 2 clicks with a special on defense. I am not big on this character. She's 50
No.
points and power. Doesn't really do much besides that.
Well, the big thing that she does, Eric, is she allows you to carry 2 people through a barrier. It doesn't destroy the barrier, but you go through the barrier because you see it says movement blocking, but it doesn't have the destruction.
Ah, yeah.
So, I mean, if you've got somebody that you can carry through that can do some action on the other side, she's usable. I mean, she's valuable, but you have to have a character that can do some type of action after being carried.
And there's not too many of those
No,
nowadays.
I mean, like if you can pop out a Pog on the other side for free, or
Okay.
generate, like the old Medusa used to do, make the hair token,
Mm-hmm.
would be great. And great, for example, this would be great in Silver Age.
Yeah, yeah. I'll definitely keep her in the back of my mind. I didn't think about the improved movement blocking. That doesn't destroy it.
Right. And you're
That's
carrying
actually
two
really
people.
good. Yeah,
Yep.
very good. Yeah, I'll keep her in the back of my mind, but for now, probably not on any meta teams.
No, I agree.
75-point Ghost Rider. This is another disappointing try at Ghost Rider. Avengers team ability, mystical team ability, 8 movement charge, 11 attack with a special, 18 defense, super senses, 3 damage, exploit weakness, traded poison, and when Ghost Rider uses it and damages one or more opposing characters after resolutions, you may heal him 1 click. His special on attack is Quake and Giant Reach of 3, and his special on defense on his last click is a stop click that grants invincible.
Yep. 35 points.
75 points. 75-point charge
Oh, yeah.
piece.
Yep. It only has super senses.
Yep, not meta, and he's fun. I guess you'll see him on sealed. If you pull him, you play him.
Max sculpt. I mean, great sculpt at the end, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That goes without saying. All these sculpts are freaking awesome. They've really stepped up their game on the sculpts. Let's go into a Mortis who is actually meta,
I
but
believe so.
he just costs a lot. He's 65 points with 8 range, triple bolt, cosmic energy team ability. His stats, I don't even know if his stats really matter, but he has an 8
I
movement
agree.
with phasing, 11 attack, in cap, 18 defense with super senses, and PC with a 2 damage. Now, what you're
You're
playing him
using
for,
him.
yeah, you're not playing him for his stats. You're playing him for
No,
his first trait. I know your past and your future. At the beginning of your turn, if there's no d6 on this card, roll a d6 and place it on this card. When a character within range rolls an attack roll, you may remove the d6 from this card and replace a die in the roll with it. This is dice replacement, but for the entire game. So we've seen this a
yeah,
couple times with Adolf Impossible, but his was a power action, and it really wasn't. I don't know what made it not great. What made Adolf Impossible not that good? I can't remember.
I don't either. But I can. What makes him so good is you don't need line of fire. You just need range,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah,
means
and
you
with
can do it through anything
yes,
within
and
range.
with an 8 range, he's seeing most of the map as long as you get him up a little bit.
He's got
Adolf Impossible. Where's he at? Right here. Adolf Impossible said, "Oh, it was a power action to do it, and he only had a 6 range, and it had to be within his line of fire." Yep, pretty much the same power from Adolf Impossible, but 6
yeah,
range and line of fire was needed.
he's got great keywords. So you can put him on just about any team that you can imagine with cosmic deity, future, past, and ruler. Again, but you got to find 65 points worth to get him on there for dice control.
Right.
That's the downside. Now he
Yeah.
does give you a prop, and he
He
does give
did.
you some outwit.
Yes, prob, outwit, end cap, so you could play the end cap tarot card with him.
Right.
Um,
Pulse wave.
triple bolted end cap. That's nothing
Yep.
to sneeze at.
No, I agree.
And then his second trait is once per turn, when an opposing character within range and line of fire attacks, before the attack roll is made, you may guess if the attack will hit at least one target or if it will miss all targets. If you do, that attack roll can't be re-rolled, and after resolutions, gave two mission points if you chose correctly. So mission point thing, and it stops them from re-rolling their attack. So you just say it hits, right? And then if they miss, it can't be re-rolled.
Right. Well, if you just make the guess,
Yeah,
if you just make the guess,
yeah.
they can't reroll it. It's my
But
understanding.
do you always guess that it'll hit?
I would take a look at who's hitting you. Like if it's a big banger, it's going to hit. So
Yeah,
you guess hit. If it's something that's 50-50, I mean,
that's
you
what I mean though.
guess
Like if
that,
it's like a roll of a 7,
uh,
I would say hit. You're gonna hit me. And then if I
yeah,
chose correctly, I gain 2 mission points anyways.
and you can't re-roll it if you miss.
Yep.
So again, my question is, I agree it's meta, but for 65 points,
Yeah, he's expensive. And without any reducers or a stop click, all it takes is getting through that senses maybe once or twice,
yeah.
and they score 65 points. Eh.
Now, some of the tarot cards, you could play them in conjunction with the tarot cards. There should be some tarot cards, that grant mission points. So you may be getting double mission points or enhanced mission points with this, Eric.
Well, yeah, and he goes on with a lot of mission point pieces.
Yes.
Like the the little timepiece from Disney Plus. Forget her stupid little Miss
Mr.
Minutes.
Miss,
Miss
yeah.
Minutes. Um, yeah, very solid piece. I don't know if you want to play it on a mission point team. I don't know if I would. I think I would just put him on there, and then you know if they make enough attacks for me to gain that many mission points, then great. But
Yeah,
otherwise, I'm still stopping them from re-rolling their attack rolls.
I agree. And I
And,
like
and,
I
and
like the triple bolts with 8.
yeah,
That's awesome.
and the dice replacement is what puts this guy at 65 points. But his second
Yep.
trait is also not something to sneeze at.
No, I agree.
That leads us into Sentry, who is also nothing to sneeze at, but I don't know if he's meta. He has an 8 movement with hypersonic, 11 attack, super strength, 18 defense, invulnerability, and 3 damage with a special. He has an optional trait for 5 points called Void, and when he would be KO'd, you may instead replace him with the Prime Sentry on click number 7. That character gains immune until your next turn, Protected Pulse Wave. Now he has a trait that I think makes him unplayable in today's meta.
Yep.
It says when Sentry is targeted by mind control, modify his defense by -2. There's just too much mind control today. There's too many people playing Thanos. We'll see what happens after the watch list um, is over and the erratas are done. But I really think that I don't think they're going to mess with Thanos too much just because they've already messed with him once. All that being said, the secret's kind of out. Mind control is probably the most powerful ability power in the game, and if your opponent has it, which they probably will, then I feel like this piece is unplayable.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
his
not
spe-
going to play.
his
I'm sorry, go ahead.
his special on damage is perplex, but only to target other friendly characters. And when Sentry uses it, choose one for the targeted character to use until your next turn. Charge and invulnerability. Okay,
Yep.
mouthfuls.
Just looking at it, who's going to play a 115-point charge piece?
I'm not.
I'm not.
I would play.
And
I would play him at 50 if I played him anywhere.
and if you pay the extra 5, you lose your prime slot
Yep.
because it got
Yep. And
prime
if you
secret.
and if you pay that extra 5, you don't want to swap him out because there goes your prime slot.
Yep.
So
So if it's on your sideline, you can't put anything else on your sideline either.
right now,
I'd say
I say
box.
no. Yeah, box.
Put them in a box.
Put him in a box. Now the prime sentry. I haven't really looked at playing him just by himself, so I'll kind of look at that here. His top dial is 10, a 10 movement with hypersonic speed, 6 range, cosmic energy team ability, 100 points, 12 attack with Penpsych, 19 defense with impervious, 4 damage with exploit, improved movement destroys blocking, and improved targeting destroys blocking. He does have a trait that I really like. It says when Sentry hits an opposing character with a close attack with a roll of 10 or greater that wasn't re-rolled by friendly characters, after resolutions, place a hit character in any square. I really like this. I feel like this is great for map control. Um, if you're able to get to your opponent, like their big piece, and hit them once, you can separate them from all of its support. I feel like that trait is very good, and that's probably what makes him a prime. He bleeds into a special on movement that grants charge and flurry, and then a special on attack that's Penpsych and Steel Energy, but for close or range attacks. I don't know. I don't think this piece is meta. For 100 points, I don't think I'd put him on my team.
I do, especially because honestly, I'd like him better if he didn't hit the top click because you're going to go right into charge flurry. You're going to get two shots at that map control you're talking about, Eric.
Hmm.
And I don't. It doesn't list it to one character. So if you hit two people with flurry, you may be able to move two. You should be able to, move
Yeah.
two people.
No, yeah. Yeah, if you hit two different people with a flurry, for sure. Now, what would
Any,
feel really bad is if you hit the piece that you wanted to move. Let's let's say you charge in and flurry, and you hit them the first time, you don't roll that 10 or greater, and then the second time you do, and then they're weak, and then you have to place them somewhere else. Or the first time you roll the 10 or greater, and then you have to place them because you have
and
to place
of
them
course,
somewhere. But it's
yeah,
in any square, so you can place it into another square that's adjacent to them. But you do lose that one. It's because it's probably only going to come into effect once per game, maybe twice if you're lucky.
I love charge flurry though,
Yeah, so do
and
I. Yeah, especially
and
with
he's
exploit.
yeah, he's going to meet out 8 damage is going to go through generally. So and he's pyrocosmic, so you're not going to outwit him.
Mm-mm.
So
Yep.
uh,
But I think Emperor Gladiator is better.
I do too. I still think he's better because he can shoot through blocking. He doesn't have to blow through it
Mm-mm.
because that's the problem. His top click, even though he's got hypersonic pen psych, he still can't get through blocking. And it's not, it's with the proliferation of blocking we have right now, especially with Molecule Man throwing him up. You've got to deal with blocking one way or another.
Yep. Yeah, with Molecule Man and Mad Jim Jaspers, and it just feels like they're making barriers so much easier.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
okay, so that takes us to Gore the God Butcher, another 100-point piece. That's a lot of fun,
Yeah,
but don't know if it's meta. 10
I
movement.
don't.
I don't think he is either.
I don't think he is.
All right, should we just move on, or do you want to talk about him for a little bit?
I mean, what I would say is, if you pull him in sealed, definitely play him in sealed. He is a lot of fun. I pulled him in sealed and played him, and if you have any hindering at all, he is just unbearable to try and kill.
Yes, especially in the sealed.
Yeah.
First-hand experience right there, ladies and gents.
Yes.
So,
Eric had a
yeah, there's no way I was killing that piece. Oh, and there's no way you can ignore it in the sealed either.
no.
So
Sorry,
that
buddy.
oh no, it's all good. This
Thanos.
yep, Thanos, 250 point Thanos. Um, I don't know why I don't know why you play this over the Legacy, but depending on what they change with the Legacy Thanos,
Yeah.
we'll see.
I think
So
that's I think that's what it comes down to. If they tinker with it and do something that makes them unplayable, you might consider it.
yep, for sure. When he starts the game, he generates a Taraxia bystander, who is also not bad. Does have the Cosmic Energy
Nope.
team ability with an 8 movement charge, 10 attack, super strength, 17 defense invul, and 3 damage with perplex. That's a very solid Pog. Um, Wants to get up in your face, but will probably die on the way there, which isn't the worst thing in the world, as we'll get into,
Right.
because his next trait is called to usurp eternity. Thanos starts the game with 6 mortal tokens. At the end of your turn, you may roll a d6, decreasing the result by -1 for each of his mortal tokens. If you do, gain mission points equal to the result, minimum 0. So you get rid of these mortal tokens with one of these 6, if any one of these 6 things happens. If he uses willpower and succeeds, if he hits an equipped character, if Taraxia is KO'd, if he heals 2 or more clicks in a single turn, if he uses impervious and succeeds, and when a character's finalized attack roll is a critical miss. So you want these things to happen during the game because each turn you're rolling a d6 and then subtracting the number of mortal tokens he has. So each time one of these things happens, he loses mortal tokens. So let's say you roll a 6, but you have all 6 of your mortal tokens, you subtract the 6, you're not getting any mission points there. Now, if 2 of these things have happened, now you only have 4 mortal tokens, you roll a d6, subtract the 4, now you gain 2 mission points. It's a one-man army that forces your opponent to kind of go after him because 2 of these things can happen without your opponent um, even being active in the game. He can hit willpower and succeed. And Taraxia can be KO'd a number of ways depending on what 50 points you put on your team with him. So that would be pretty much it. Like I said, you're not going to play this guy over the legacy depending on what they do to change him. He does have a stop click that's impervious, super senses, and regeneration as free.
And the problem is this: is you're not going to kill him in the game generally. I just can't see it with the regen on the stop clicks. You've got 3 of them, and you can't get by the stop click, and if he just regens, it takes it back up to the next stop click.
Yep.
How do you kill him?
See, well, regen would be maxed at 2 because it's off of a stop click.
Because it's off of the stop click. Okay.
Right. So he wouldn't
But
be able to
still,
heal up to the next stop click at the same
boom.
time. Yeah, it's
How do you kill him?
unless you have a way to get around stop clicks or you just keep
Yeah.
attacking him, then
Which means you got to come in close.
yeah, you have to come in close and force the action. And hopefully he doesn't hit on an impervious roll because if he does, that's another mortal token that goes away.
Yep.
So you want to go in after him with exploit damage.
You get 2 rollers.
Yes.
Yep.
He has super senses?
On a stop click.
Oh, on a stop click he does. Yeah. Yep. He is 250 points. That is worth 250 points. His mission points really push the action
Yep.
a little bit. We'll have to. This piece will require playtesting to see if it's a good enough one-man army. But if you're going one-man army, you're going to use one of the grand prize pieces, or use a tent pole and run the Legacy Thanos. I really don't know. I don't think this piece is good enough.
I don't think, well, yeah, especially since you get Legacy Thanos for 75 points less.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can build much easier with the Legacy, or even one of the grand prize ones at 150 that has a soul star sitting on it, Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so that takes us to Kang, who is another 100-point super rare. 8 movement with a special, 12 attack with Pen Psych, 18 defense with Invulnerability, 3 damage with RCE. So he is hitting 13 for 4, penetrating type. Minions of Doom team ability and team player team ability. Improved targeting, he can shoot from adjacency. He has a trait that says the bystanders on this card are called the Kangs through time, and each have max of 1. Leadership, when Kang the Conqueror uses it and succeeds, you may instead generate a Kangs through time bystander. And these Kangs through time bystanders are not bad. You have Kang the Conqueror with running shot, pen psych, and outwit, and then you have Immortus with precision strike and PC, and then Kang himself with sidestep, pulse wave, and perplex. Really great bystanders. I'm really glad that Jason Wingard is out of the game so we don't have to deal with these things all the time. Because I don't know if this piece is strong enough to support those bystanders. His special on movement is phasing teleport. When King the Conqueror uses it and moves 5 squares or less after resolutions, he may make an attack. Again, he's hitting 13 for 4 with penetrating. And then his special on defense that he bleeds into is Super Senses Toughness. And when the King the Conqueror uses Super Senses and succeeds after resolutions, heal him 1 click. If a 6 was rolled, heal him 3 clicks instead. Protected Outwit. That's a really strong defensive power. The problem is, it is protected Outwit. Never mind. You can't
It is
outwit it. Yep. Never
not
mind.
power. Yep.
Excuse me.
Well, what I would do is if I was facing him, It's just out with the leadership every time.
Yep.
Can't
Yeah.
can't pop out the pogs.
Yeah. And for
Uh,
100 points, I don't know if he has enough
no.
movement to get him up into the action, do enough damage wise. I mean,
Well,
he
if
has
you can
two.
get him down, you got to get him off the top 4 clicks because then he loses any movement of attack power he has.
Yeah,
Because
and
he's got to.
you can hit him really hard to start off, and then just leave him there.
Yep.
You
And
can
then
hit him
just
for
like I said,
penetrating 5 damage, put him on click 6, and then just leave him there.
and then you'd start with his pog power,
Leadership.
his leadership.
Yep.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
he's
so
too
he's
many
good.
points
He's
for too little
fun, but I
result.
don't think he's meta.
Yeah. Too many points for too little result.
Yep. Now let's go into the chases. And before we go into the chases, I do just want to say all these chases and the super rares that we've talked about, they are all, you could play them on a meta team. You just have to be you have to be willing to build around those pieces. So if one of them is one of your favorite characters from the comics or something along those lines, and you want to build around them, but we said it wasn't meta, don't take that as, gospel. You can build around these pieces and make them meta, especially with the chases. These chases are a lot of points, most of them, and it, but they do a lot for their points. Some of them do a little less than others, but you can still build around them to make them meta. And having a combination of maybe two of your favorite pieces, two of your favorite characters from the comics is a cool idea and a cool concept that Warp World really brought into pop culture. So it like say you love She-Hulk and Black Widow, and Green Widow just isn't that great, right? But these two characters are a couple of your favorite characters in the comics. You can definitely build around Green Widow to make her playable, especially at 50 points. So when we say it's not meta, don't take that as gospel. Understand that these pieces have some maneuverability to build around them and make them meta. But going forward, most of these pieces are just for fun. And that's the cool thing about this set is that nothing's broken. Like nothing breaks the game in this set. We really don't have to worry about anything changing the meta or changing the way that local venues uh, run the rules or making house erratas for any pieces. None of that really needs to happen with this set because everything's very balanced. Now, all that being said, the first chase we're going to talk about is Soldier Supreme. Bob, I'll let you talk about Soldier Supreme since you pulled him.
Well, first of all, I would say that I would not play him at top dial. If I'm going to play him, I play it at the 75 point click. Um, you're not losing that much for the 50 points, and he's still hitting with running shot and psychic blast at 11. He's got a special on defense, which I really like, which is combat reflexes, energy, shield deflection, and invulnerability. And at the end of your turn, you can choose close or ranged attack until your next turn, and your opposing character targets Soldier Supreme with an attack modifies their attack by -1. That type of attack is against it. So basically, what you do is if you've got someone who's going to shoot him, you choose range. You've got energy shield deflection, and they have a -1 to their attack, so you actually have a +3 bonus to your defense in that regard. He has leadership, and when he hits his leadership, he can also heal all adjacent characters one. He's got a special trait once per turn when one or more friendly characters within range and line of fire would be hit. You may roll 2d6. If you do, and your roll is equal to or greater than the attacker's finalized attack roll, the attack automatically misses all targets, and all targets heal 1 click. Protected pulse wave.
That's a very
Um,
solid trait.
yeah, I like it. I mean, I think it's a great fun piece. The problem is you can outwit him.
Hmm.
That's the problem.
Yeah, and
And
that's
if you
that's what I was going
outwit,
to bring up.
yeah, if you outwit the defense power, you've taken away most of his utility. In all honesty, I mean, you're gonna one shot him because you lose your combat reflexes, you lose your energy shield deflection, your invulnerability, and the modification to the defender's attack, and he's got a naked 17.
Mm-hmm.
And with today's power creep, you hit him down, you can hit him for 5, and he's down on his last click,
Yeah.
and he doesn't have a stop click.
Yeah, and there's
Uh,
several ways to get to 6 damage now.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially with all the enhancement they're giving out now.
Now he will have that rollout more than likely.
Yeah,
Roll
but
2d6.
yeah, he's still got the rollout. But if you roll a 12, what are you going to do?
Right.
And knowing my luck, someone's going to roll a 10 or 11 or 12 against me in that particular case. Um, he's got great keywords: Avengers, Defenders, Mystical Past, Soldier, and then Warp World. So you can, at 75 points, you can make him fit on any team. But you're kind of falling into the same problem that you have with a lot of the other characters. You can get people for the same amount of points that do more and better. Than
Mm-hmm.
he's got 6 range with 2 bolts. Again, there's the one thing about this set is the ranges seem to be dialing down the ranges in this set. 6 seems to be average. Four,
It's
five,
almost
six.
like they added a bunch more shield team abilities and then
Mhm.
busted down the range.
Right.
It's like
So
going
I
in,
mean,
it's like going into a store before Black Friday and they're saying everything's on sale, but it's for the same price.
yeah, they jack it up 25% and then mark it down 25 so they can keep the same. Uh, I mean, if I pulled him in sealed, I'd play him top dial and just
Oh
say,
yeah.
let's go have some fun with this guy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because he's got, like I said, he's got the mystical keyword, and I can see trying to put him on a mystical team or on a soldier team. But if you're gonna run him, you almost have to run him as a support piece, and it's a 75-point support piece. And I have a hard time running a support piece for 75 points unless it's really going to do something for
Mm-hmm.
me.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you have some other thoughts on it, Eric. I
I really
mean,
don't. I think you hit all the nails on the head. It's it's a short dial at 75 points, and we've seen that before. You see that with, Scarlet Witch, 75 points, but she's only 5 clicks long. But at the same time, it's insanely hard to kill her because she has a stop click and rollouts.
right,
Now he's 75 points and he's only 6 clicks long, no stop click,
yeah,
and the only way that he's avoiding being KO'd first turn is trying to beat your opponent's attack roll. And that's
right.
probably going to be a 50-50 shot
If you're lucky,
if you're lucky. You
yeah,
know,
if you're lucky,
yeah, it's probably not a 50-50. It's probably worse than a 50-50 shot.
yeah. And you're never going to play him at 125 because he just doesn't give you enough at
Well,
125
yeah,
justify it.
he's the same dial at 125 basically that he is at 75 top dial.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He's fun. And the sculpt, as we've talked about, the sculpts are awesome in this set.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, but unfortunately, I have to say, leave him in the box. It's just
Well, yep. Yeah, unless you want to build around Captain America and Doctor Strange, leave him in the box. Um,
yeah,
that takes us to two of a lot of people's favorite Avengers, Iron Man and Thor. We get Iron Hammer. Okay, so Iron Hammer is looking through these chases. I don't know if he's the best chase in the set, but he's among my favorites. I really like this piece. He's got the
I think
Defender's Team ability, 7 range, triple bolt. It comes in at 150 or 100 points, so you're not spending your entire point total on this piece. 10 movement, running shot, 11 attack with a special, 18 defense with a special, and 3 damage with RCE. His trait is chest mounted Bifrost, super senses, and when Iron Hammer uses it and succeeds, instead of evading the attack, you may choose an opposing character within range and line of fire to become the hit target. That
crazy good,
crazy good. Crazy good.
crazy
Especially with the tarot cards that we have that increase your die roll on super senses. Um,
bracelet,
the bracelets would be
bracelet.
amazing on this guy. Now the issue is that it's not protected outwit, so you can
No,
outwit his senses before you attack. His special on attack is called Heimdall Guidance System. Gives him Pen Psych and improved targeted hindering, elevated, and characters. And when Iron Hammer hits with a range attack, after resolutions deal 1 penetrating damage to all untargeted opposing characters adjacent to a hit target. Super good, especially for a tent pole. You want some way to damage an entire team, and this grants it to you, especially with a triple bolt. Um, he doesn't have to deal damage to the character for them. So say you targeted 3 characters because they're in 3 bunches, but you really only want to deal damage to one character. You can hit all 3 characters with the attack roll, deal all your damage to one character, and still deal the 1 penetrating damage to their entire team. I really like that attack power. Very good. Now his defense is protected outwit, and it is invincible in willpower, so he does have a way to roll out of action tokens. And he bleeds into a special on damage, which is exploit weakness. And when Iron Hammer hits with a close attack after resolutions, choose one. Each hit target is given an action token, or each hit target modifies attack -1 until your next turn. Which, unless they're pushed out, you are always choosing each hit target is given an action token, more than likely.
Especially with 3 bolts and you can hit 3 characters, Eric.
Yes. So you're basically getting end cap with your pseudo energy explosion, pen psych, with improved targeting, hindering, elevated, protected outwit on the defensive power, and then super senses. That's not protected outwit, but if they don't outwit it, it's incredibly powerful.
This is one that I would play top dial if I was going to play him, as opposed to lower dial.
Yes, I would agree with you because that 50 points just buys so much more.
Yes.
Hitting 13 for 5 with a 19 defense. Yeah, you have more
And
of
an
an opportunity.
unoutwittable invincible.
Yes, which Thanos has been taking advantage of for a long
Mm-hmm.
time. So I really like this piece. The playing him at top dial, another thing you have to think about is it gives you a lot more opportunity to take out their outwit, so they can't outwit your senses anymore. This is a piece that's worth building around in my mind at 150.
And he's got good keywords too.
Great keywords.
You know,
Armor
Arm.
as Guardian can go on a Spider-Man family with Mary Jane or Gwen of Arc.
Yep.
Avengers, Defenders, Scientists, great keyword. And then Warp World is actually coming into its own.
Quite a few in here.
Yep. Yep. Uh,
If it's not the number one, it's 1A or 2 in my mind, because I still think Red Dormammu's, at least in my mind, for my play style and what it does, I think it's number 1. But this one is, I would, if I pulled it, I certainly wouldn't trade it away.
oh God, no. This piece, not yeah, if only for the fact that it's Iron Man and Thor. It's Iron Man as Odinson. So yeah, this piece is amazing, and they really did right by 2 of the community's favorite Avengers. And going into another couple of fan favorites, it's Moon Knight and Spider-Man with Arachnite. This is a piece that's in contention for one of the best chases as well. He has a Defender's team ability, Mystical team ability, and Spider-Man team ability. Comes in at 100 points or 60 points. At 100 points, top dial is 10 movement, charge, 11 attack with a special, 18 defense with invulnerability, and 4 damage with perplex. At the 60-point line, you're getting willpower instead of invulnerability, and a 3 damage with PC instead of 4 damage with perplex. Improved movement elevated in characters, and improved targeting elevated with a 5 range double bolts. Special trait, stealth, super senses, and free, choose one to last until you choose again. Hypersonic speed, flurry, shape change, or outwit. His special on attack is Precision Strike, and then once per turn, when Arachnite KOs an opposing character, you may roll a d6, 3 through 6, choose an opposing character, and make a close attack targeting that that character. His special on defense is stop with regeneration, toughness, and willpower. And those stop clicks are on his second and his second to last click.
Wow.
So, with his keywords, with the mystical team ability he is prime candidate for the Soul Sword. Not only can he heal up off of his stop click with the Soul Sword, but he also heals onto Steel Energy.
Knocked out.
I'm looking
Okay,
at 60 points. I
that's
don't.
what I'm looking at.
Yeah, you could play him at 100 points, but I don't know if that's he might be worth it at 100 points just to
Well,
get
I'm
that
looking
second
at
stop
this.
click in there.
Eric, I'm looking at this. Where you have a 60-point character that has the potential to make 3 attacks in one turn. If you do flurry
The
and he hits, and you hit the 3 to 6, and you get to move him, and you get a free attack.
hmm the
You know,
only
you get
other
a pop,
one that was in the game for that low of cost would probably be Doppelganger Prime.
and I think you're right. You slap the soul sword on him, you know, and he's got the Mystic Team ability, so he's going to heal one. Your opponent's going to take one for hitting him. He's going to go up 1 click. If he hits again, he's going to go right back to top dial, and he's got full dial prop on that lower click.
Yeah. This is in my mind, this and Iron Hammer and Dormammu Red are the 3 chases that you want to hold on to. And Miss Kang isn't bad either. But
No,
the but I think she's 1B and all 3 of these are 1A.
stop regeneration,
Yep.
and he's got
And
willpower too. So you've got the possibility of taking tokens off every single turn too.
yes, sir.
If you're lucky enough, you're going to be attacking every single turn.
hmm And the defender's team ability also got better in this set. There's a lot of defenders that have a 19 defense in this set. Also,
And he's
with
mystic too.
and he's mystical too. But with the like, say you want to run a 200-point piece, this piece at 60 points can give you a lot of cleanup ability. I
Yeah.
think, yeah. I mean, that's besides the point, obviously. But if you are one of those that wants to run a Hulk or an Iron Man because you really like them, throwing this piece on there as well gives you some cleanup power for after you hit with your big attack with the Hulk or Iron Man.
Well, if you can come in and hit, do a clean, you should be able to do a cleanup with the flurry.
hmm
And if you're lucky enough to KO him, you get your third attack or the additional attack. You 3 to 6. I won't say it's easy to hit the way I roll dice, but you should hit a 3 to 6. At least 67% of the chance. 67% of the time. So
Right.
2 out of 3 times.
Yes. And he doesn't have to have range or line of fire to that character. It's choose
No,
any opposing character. So it could be another support piece, and then he KOs them again, and then he can roll this D6 again. Am I reading that right?
no,
No,
I
it's
think
it's
I think
no, it's once
that's
per
say
turn. It's once per
once per
turn.
turn.
Yep. Never mind. But you can take out an additional support piece. This piece is you can easily see him paying for his 60 points.
Easily. Yeah. Oh,
Now,
didn't know.
this is a long video.
Uh,
All right, we're almost done. Ghost Panther, 125 or 75. This piece just looks really awesome. Very good on the shelf. Otherwise, he's really only decent for an Avenger swap in my mind to pop out that free bystander. Wouldn't play him any other way.
yeah. Well, he's a lot of points, and since he's a peanut base, which is the only peanut base in the main set, can't TCAM, so
Mm.
you are stuck.
Yeah.
Like I said, yeah, this one you take out of the box, you just put it up on the shelf.
Yeah. Or you sell it because he's probably selling pretty high. He looks cool
Yeah,
enough that a lot of people would
he's
probably be
awesome.
willing to pay for it. Okay, that now Miss Kang, who I said was 1B. This is a lot of reading. She doesn't die. She has Cosmic Energy Team ability. She's 50 points, 4 range, double bolts, 11 movement with phasing, 10 attack with TK, 19 defense with senses, 2 damage outwit. She has shape change, and when Miss Kang uses it after rolling, you may KO any number of friendly Chronal Echo bystanders to increase the result by X, where X is the number of Chronal Echo bystanders you KO'd. She has PC. When Miss Kang uses it after resolutions, you may generate a Chronal Echo bystander max of 3. So this is probably the easiest way that there ever has been to just pop out bystanders outside of Annihilation from X of Swords. Uh, PC is a free thing that you can do even during your opponent's turn. So if he's able to kill, or if he's able to kill a couple Chronal Echo bystanders, once you PC, you get an extra one that gives you shape change on 4 through 6. She has a stop click on her last click that gives barrier, and when Miss Kang would take damage from an attack, you may instead KO a friendly Chronal Echo bystander within range, and then place Miss Kang in the square it last occupied. So she's not going to die. She's insanely annoying. Great support piece with TK, Outwit, and just 50 points of annoyance that your opponent's probably going to have to ignore.
The Chrono Echoes, they also have prop.
Yes.
So you only get it one time per turn because it says if it hasn't been used by another Chrono Echo, you could
Right.
use.
The main thing
But
that they have is plasticity to tie up your opponent.
and I mean, you're throwing it mastermind. She's throwing it on there. It doesn't cost you anything, and she's just popping them out right and left.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. For 50 points, Power Cosmic, she can't be outwitted. She's got outwit. The only downside is she's only got a 4 range, but you're not using her for an attack anyway.
No, you're just using
And,
her to annoy.
yeah, yeah,
She has the Avengers, Council of Kings, Future, Past, and another Young Avenger. So
yep.
she's definitely going on your Young Avengers team if you have her. Little Monster is 100 points. He has an 8 movement with a special, 11 attack with super strength, 17 defense with invincible, 3 damage with exploit weakness. Avengers, Monster, Scientist, and Warp World. Uh, Keywords: improved movement, blocking, and characters. And a trait. When Little Monster hits or is hit, give him a Jade Germ token. Little Monster can use the following effects based on the number of his Jade Germ tokens. If he has 1 or more, he gains Tiny. If he has 2 or more, Senses. 3 or more, Close Combat Expert. 4 or more, when Little Monster rolls for Super Senses, after rolling, you may remove any number of Jade Germ tokens to increase the result of the roll by that amount, and after resolutions, you may heal him equal to the number of Jade Germ tokens removed. Special on movement is Charge and Flurry. When an adjacent friendly character makes a ranged attack, after resolutions, you may place Little Monster adjacent to a hit target. Very good movement power.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worth 100 points, especially after those first 3 clicks, because he just kind of dies after that with toughness. But he does go into a special on attack that says Close. Destroy all blocking terrain within 3 squares, and make a close attack targeting all opposing characters within 3 squares. Each hit character is dealt 3 damage instead of normal damage. Very situational attack power. You're probably not always popping this off. For 100 points, not really worth it.
Now, I mean, the only way he's ever going to be viable is you've got to get 2 of those Jade Germ tokens on him right away to get to the super senses.
And the tiny.
Yeah,
But
and the tiny, yeah.
but
But
even
other
even
than
then,
that,
even then, I mean he's placing up close to your opponent whenever you hit with a range attack.
yeah,
So he has a lot of potential for damage output, but for 100 points, he gets right into the action with a 17 defense that can be
yeah.
outwitted. Yeah.
The thing about him is though he has flurry, which exploit on those top 3 clicks. So I mean, you can get 6 through
Right.
hopefully. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But one outwit and he's gone,
yeah,
and there goes 100 points of your build. a third of
Well,
it.
this goes back to what we were talking about before. That we were talking about the She-Hulk
Hmm.
at 50 points. She's half the points and does more damage.
Yep. Yeah. And even she didn't do a lot that other characters can do.
No, no,
So Little Monster, nah.
no.
That brings us into another chase that's a little bit lackluster compared. It's Green Widow. She's pretty complicated. Her trait is free choose a set of colors and then choose one standard power matching each color. One standard power matching each color, not every standard power matching each color, which is how I read it before. She just got worse in my mind. Green Widow can use the chosen powers until your next turn. Green and lime green or black and red. So Earthbound neutralize and enhancement?
There
No.
you go.
Yeah, that she has a pseudo charge to her, and it ties into her special on movement. I make my own cover. Leap climb when Green Widow is given a move action after resolutions. Generate a hindering terrain marker in her square, and if she moved 5 squares or less, she may make an attack. I lied. She doesn't have a pseudo um, flurry because charge is a power action, as we went over earlier. It's not a move action. Uh,
Leave her in the box. Leave her in the box, Eric.
leave her in the box. But I mean, you can build around her to make her decent. She does have perplex and a 12 attack, and then when knockback comes back,
Yep.
she might be something to look at. But there's a lot of characters that
And,
have knockback today, and I don't think she's
yeah.
the main one you're going to look at.
No, well, if you're even going to consider her, you've got to consider her at 50 points.
Yeah. And 50 points. She starts with. Does she start with CCE? No, she still starts with perplex at 50 points and goes
Yeah.
straight into willpower. Ugh.
Well, I mean, she's 50 points.
Yeah,
But again, would you choose her for 50 points or the She-Hulk we talked about earlier?
I would choose the She-Hulk for 50 points,
I
sir.
would too.
I would choose Sakarian Iron Man for 50 points, sir.
Absolutely.
Okay, Dormammu Red. This is the chase that I pulled, as Bob brought up earlier. He is very good. I didn't realize how good he was when I pulled him, but looking at him, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Cosmic Energy, Hydra, and Mystical Team ability. 12 movement with Running Shot, 12 attack with Pen Psych, 19 defense with a special, 5 damage with a special as well. That's at his 250 point line. I would only play him at the 100 point line because he's not one man army worthy without just because he doesn't have any stop clicks. Now, he could be a one man army because he does have leadership and mastermind and he's popping out his own leadership fodder. But those 50 points would have to, I mean, you would have to be able to get something quick that he can mastermind to just in case he doesn't hit his leadership rules. But at 100 points, he starts with a 10 movement running shot, 11 attack with pen psych, 18 defense with his special, and 4 damage with a. He actually starts with PC, not his special on damage. Luckily, I pulled this guy, so I know that Clicks Nexus has it wrong right now. Yep.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's going to be awful tough to kill at 100
Yes.
points between Mastermind and the Regeneration 3 clicks. And he's got Power Cosmic, so you can't outwit him. And he's got Mystics team ability, and his keywords are just absolutely out there. I mean, just out in left field. With Cosmic, Deity, Hydra, Mystical, Past, Soldier, and Warp World.
Yes.
At 100 points, you can just build a fantastic team around him.
Well, the main thing I was looking at is because now there are 2 pieces with the mystical keyword that have unoutwittable mastermind between Dormammu Red and Blackheart. And the way I'm picturing it is Blackheart carrying around Dormammu Red, and they're both rolling their leaderships, but I don't like relying on those leadership rolls. So this way, if at any point they attack Dormammu Red, I can mastermind it to Blackheart and get a Hellfire Club guard out immediately. Something along those lines. is what I'm kind of thinking about when I'm building around him.
Then you got double PC. Each of them has PC too.
Yes, double PC,
Yeah,
incredibly hard to kill. The issue is that with Blackheart, I'm giving up points to attack, so
yeah,
got to get around that. And then re- this is the issue you run into when you rely on Mastermind is you're giving up points whenever you're attacked. So it kind of runs into those problems. He still is incredibly hard to kill, and he can dish out a lot of damage because his trait, Supreme Strategist, when Dormammu Red hits, give him a plotting token. Dormammu Red considers characters within X squares to be adjacent, where X is the number of its plotting tokens. Traded Leadership Mastermind Poison. When Dormammu Red uses leadership and succeeds, you may also generate a Hydra agent on click number 1 or a mindless
yes.
one on click number 1. If a 6 was rolled, you may instead generate both. Now, where all of his damage comes into is on his special and damage, which is why I'm kind of like I wish he started with it on his 100-point line. It's Outwit and Perplex, and when Dormammu Red hits with an attack, you may remove up to 3 plotting tokens and increase the damage dealt this attack by the amount of plotting tokens removed. So once he gets to those last 3, um, or those last 2 clicks, I should say, on his 100-point line, he should have been able to get a couple attacks in, and he's able to deal, upwards of 5 or 6 damage with Precision Strike.
Yeah. From what you're saying, Eric, can you imagine both of those guys hitting their leadership roles? And Dormammu hits the 6, so he pops out both of them.
Yeah,
And
and
you've
then,
got,
then I got Pulse Wave and Empower for Blackheart
yeah,
whenever he charge and flurries.
and he can kill his Hellfire Guard.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, and,
The
that's
damage out
175.
the
That's only
damage
175.
output with Dormammu Red is insane.
It is.
Just like it is with Blackheart. But it
Yep.
the
Like I
the
told you, I think you got the pick of the litter. I know the other ones we talked about are good, but I'm looking at that and I'm just salivating.
hmm and with the Hydra team ability with Blackheart,
Yes.
yeah. There's a lot to love with this. I'm looking into maybe like an Agatha Harkness along with it to pop out the bystander that they can mastermind to instead.
Senior Scrappy.
Yeah, because he would have enhancement and give them +1 to their attack rolls, or +1 to their attack, I should say. Something along those lines that doesn't cost me anything to mastermind to.
You know, here's a crazy thought. You could do Sheriff Whitechapel, 75 points, pops out the 4 pogs, and they do the same thing because they've got, what is it? Is
The
basically
PD, yeah,
yeah, they've got PD. And, if you get all of them out, she can carry them all up. They can all go up together, and you can shoot from range. You could conceivably, with your Dormammu, with 3 of them, you, you're taking a -3 to them, and you've got an 11 attack with them on a -3, and it's going, okay. So that's just something crazy. Plus, then you've got the Pogs to kill that you don't care about, and
right.
if they pop out the other characters, you know, you're rocking and rolling. That's just nuts.
I'm trying to find her pogs. The Blight Spoke Posse. Oh wow. Yeah, yeah. That's actually a really solid play.
You still got 50 points to play with too.
Yep. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Mystical is not hurting for a
No,
low point,
no.
great support pieces. So yeah, he's a very good, very very good chase. If you do pull
Yep.
him, congratulations. Um,
Eric.
well,
Congratulations, Eric.
thank you. No, congratulations, Bob, on getting the coolest one, Soldier Supreme. I like Soldier Supreme.
I'll trade you.
I won't trade you, but
You want to pop through the legacy cards, buddy,
um,
or just hit the high points?
let's just hit the high points. Let's
Okay.
talk about Agent Coulson, another
Hmm.
sideline active piece that got brought into the game. When a friendly character of 50 points or more with the shield keyword rolls for leadership and succeeds on and a 6 was rolled, they may instead generate Agent Coulson from your sideline on click number 1. His special line attack is Incapacitate, and when Agent Coulson uses it, he may also deal his printed damage value to hit characters given an action token. That's all hit characters, but he only has one bolt. So I don't know when that would come into play. There might be an object later on down the road that gives him an extra bolt. And then a special on damage, which is leadership and outwit. And when he uses leadership and succeeds, you can generate a shield operative. It's 45 points with the shield team ability, so very solid sideline active piece. If you are running a shield piece that's 50 points or more and has leadership, a lot of pieces from this set to do. And do you have anything to say on Agent Coulson?
No, I think you hit it. I mean, if you want to play him on an Avengers team, he's got Avenger, Soldier, and Spy.
Hmm.
Also, he
I,
was
I don't think you play him except on the sideline.
on the sideline.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think. Yeah, 45 points is a lot for a 10 attack.
I tend to agree.
Uh,
Cosmo,
Cosmo does a lot. This is a piece that you are going to want to get your hands on if you don't already, and go hunting for that legacy card. His special on movement is Mind Control and Power. Choose a standard power until your next turn. Cosmo has opposing characters within range can't use the chosen power. I don't know when you'll ever use Mind Control over the power, but he does have it just in case. The power action, so he can power action choose like invulnerability, and then you can carry him up next to Thanos with a charge, and Thanos can't use his invulnerability anymore.
it's within range. It doesn't have to be adjacent. So,
Right, right. But you know, you could running shot, charge, everything else as long as Cosmo gets within 6 range of him.
and he's got outwit, and the
Uh,
target character gains
yeah,
immobile too.
yes. If you can get him onto a second click, that's where he really shines. Outwit, and when he uses it, the targeted character gains a mobile. So very good piece to get your hands on. Go out and get it. You got anything, Bob?
I'd say Dark Star. It's uh, just because of his smoke cloud ability, and
Mm-hmm.
he does stealth and smoke cloud for free, and then he can generate blocking terrain markers, uh, free blocking terrain markers in smoke cloud for free. So he's going to be the replacement for Molecule Man when he retires, and that's coming up in July, I believe.
Yes. The only
And
difference is he doesn't have barrier as a power,
correct,
so he can only generate 3 barrier markers.
right. But he does have TK.
He does have
He is
TK.
10 points more. His dial's a little deeper, but if you're looking for free barrier, that is one way to generate three.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
then,
also worse keywords, but
yeah, well, you want it for a soldier team.
yeah, he
Yeah,
yeah. If you're running
yeah,
soldiers or winter guards, you're definitely putting him on
yeah.
there.
But,
Uh,
you know, the thing is with the Thanos team, most of the Thanos teams, a lot of them weren't keyword anymore. So it didn't matter.
mm-hmm.
Uh, Rick
That
Jones?
Rick Jones, okay. Rick Jones. Rick
Rick Jones.
Jones. Okay, so this was the first legacy card that was previewed. As soon as it was, his price skyrocketed. He jumped up to over $100. I know because I looked for him. But he does the same thing that Agent Coulson does, really incapacitate. And when Rick Jones uses it, he may deal his printed damage value to hit characters given an action token. But he's got a 10 range with 3 bolts, so you're able to deal 3 characters at 2 damage. Now, another thing that he can do is at the beginning of the game generate a bystander on this card. Each bystander on this card can only be generated once per turn. Whew.
Which means you can, if they're killed, another one comes out on each turn, on the same turn. So if they kill the first one, the second one comes out, they kill the second one, the third one comes out.
Yes. He is very
Yeah,
solid for 45 points.
yeah,
With that 10 range is just insane.
it's crazy.
Avengers, Cosmic Future Past. Um, all those his keywords are great even.
Yeah,
His legacy card does come in the play at home kit, so it should be fairly easy to get. The hard part is going to be finding the piece because he was a chase back in his day.
he was a chase. That's correct.
And if you find the piece, good luck. Hopefully they have the bystanders with it.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the strange things. They actually sent if you pulled the piece in the booster,
Hmm.
it had cardboard pieces for those in the booster with you. So, um,
That's so cool. I wish they would start
yeah,
doing that again.
I understand. I just it's no worse than they used to put the cardboard bystanders used to get those in the boosters too, but they did away with those. So
Yeah,
now
like
I
a
guess it's
like
one
a
way to sell
13
more of
point
the
pog.
tokens. Yeah, it's more way to sell tokens, make
Yeah.
money. I understand.
Yep. All right, guys, that's it for our roundtable on Avengers Forever. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned some things about some of your favorite pieces. And thank you for spending the time to listen to it. I hope you guys got through the whole thing. I'm glad that we did. Bob, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm wanting to go out and get some more of this set.
Yeah, so am I. I'm so much more excited about it now. But
Yeah,
I hope everyone that's listening to this is more excited about this set. Like we said, it, there's nothing in here that's going to break the meta. It, this set is really just a lot of fun, and we hope you guys have fun with it. With that being said, peace out, guys. All right, so we got Josh TIE Fighter Gasser in here for a little bonus round. Little man couldn't get his baby down in time. She
No, no,
took
no.
3 hours to put down.
Something like that. Something like that.
Oh god.
Uh,
But just to get his thoughts on some of the pieces that he was excited to talk about, uh, I'm going to give him the floor on anything that he wants to say.
yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Well, keep in
Yeah,
mind I can edit it out. So
yeah, yeah. No, edit most of it out except for me saying bye. I got it. I got
good.
it. No, no, no. Just to kind of start off, I don't know. I was super excited when we did our kind of sealed event. We did a makeshift sealed event this past week, and it was a lot of fun because um we've been used to the slop battle royales where if one person pulls one fig, it is almost a guaranteed loss for everybody
Brutal.
else.
Brutal
Yeah,
is the
you,
word for
you
it.
you get that Wolverine or you get Apocalypse, and everybody else is just like, okay,
Well, forget
this
them.
is.
You get that stupid Mr. Sinister.
Well, yeah, there's a few choice pieces that if it happens, it just is not necessarily the most fun for everybody. But we played a makeshift sealed event, and it was a lot of fun because not that there wasn't anything overpowered, but it was just a very balanced pool for everybody. So we had really annoying pieces like the what was his name?
Was it Falcon?
Falcon, yeah, super fun. We ended up, super sense rolling 4 through 6 at least 6 times with that between the my opponent and myself, and it was almost a running joke at that point. So that was pretty cool, and I got to go up against the Chase little Hulk guy, the little monster, and I got super lucky with my rolls on that, so I kind of one-shotted him in one,
Jesus.
or I got him dead in one turn, but he definitely got to that last click and
So,
killed.
so your opponent's already hit me up about what he should trade Little Monster for.
No, it's so good. It's so good. But it was so funny because I played kind of an annoying team. I got what else did I pull? I pulled the
No offense to you, Joe, out there. Little Monster's good.
He is very good. So I pulled the mindful one, which was really good because it gave the whole entire team mystics, and I got the Hulk down to his, or little monster down to his last click, and that 19 defense, and I mean, you're 19, what is it, 13-5 or something like that. It is absolutely bananas on that last click. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to kill him. But he ended up hitting one of my characters and died from poison. So
From
it
Mystic's damage.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, from Mystic's damage. Yeah. So it was pretty epic to see, but sad to see at the same time. So I think that is a really cool fig, and it's probably one of my favorite ones that I've seen so far.
They
But
did the
as you and
sculpt
I,
really well on it.
oh yeah, it's awesome. I mean that, and kind of, I'll talk about it in a second, but um, you and I were talking about how awesome this fig would be if it came in at like a 45 or 50 point value, kind of like there on click 4, or click 3, and has significantly less clicks to it, but still does all the stuff. But 100 points is just, it's unplayable and competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Super fun and sealed.
Yeah.
But that's probably where that's gonna kind of
Land,
die. Yeah. And then another, you talked about kind of fun looking sculpts and stuff, but that Invincible Iron Man, it's so funny because every time I see that,
The
every
Invincible
time I
Ant-Man?
see, or the Invincible Ant-Man, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Every time I see that, it's just like I get that picture in my mind of Deadpool, where he gets his like arm chopped off and he has like this baby arm growing back. And, and I'm like, he looked like he got his bottom half of his body chopped off, and he has like Deadpool legs growing back. So it's kind of funny to see. Um, but as far as other figs that I was like, borderline excited to look for, I play a X-Men swap, so I'm big with Professor Xavier swap and looking for Illuminati, and I was excited to see something come out of that because Avengers sets drop your Iron Man, your Doctor Strange, and those pieces,
Dude,
and I
you've
was
had
hoping to.
you've had 3
Hey,
X-Men sets in a row.
hey.
You can chill out. We have a whole storyline organized play centered around per swap.
Dude,
You
if
can
you
chill
wanted
out on your I
to,
want more.
you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right. But you find that stuff, you find that thing that you like, and
Dude,
I've
I'm
always
running
been so
Avengers swap and nothing in this set really
helps
helps
you.
me out. Like I'm reaching. Like maybe Doctor Strange at 40 will work.
Yeah, that maybe,
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 maybe.
maybe. No, but no, I don't know. I was kind of excited, and that's what I was excited about to see, and just if I could put anything else together, um, with that. Other than that, um, let me see. Another one. I pulled the super rare Dormammu, and again, looked kind of cool when I was looking at it, but just another one of those leadership generators of multiple things. So
Yeah, we talked about Dormammu a little bit, and it's one of those pieces that he looks insanely good until you get him off of those top 3 clicks.
yeah,
Like once he takes a couple hits, he's pretty much
yeah,
not doing anything for you the rest of the game. And for 125 points, it's not
yep.
really worth it.
And then you know what? Maybe this is okay too because this meta shift, if there is a meta shift, and I don't even know if this set is strong enough to do that, but if it does happen, we're potentially looking at lower figs going away, higher high hitting, high pointed figs coming into the game, which I'm okay with because I personally have a problem with 50-point figures that take, I don't know. What do you think about 15 clicks to kill and can have like 13 attack? In any of those figs like that for 50 points, ring any bells for you?
Yeah, I'm thinking of
Oh
like
yeah.
Jubilee.
Oh no 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 no! I'm
Like,
thinking Sakari and Iron Man.
oh,
Jubilee dies in like 4, sir. Thank you very
you've hit
much.
your shape change more than you haven't.
Only when I'm using loaded dice. It's
Yeah, there
fine.
we go. Yeah,
I have my Jubilee
you
dice
got
for
that.
that.
You got that microwave nice
But
and set up to 30 seconds.
yeah, I don't know. I like that kind of play. This really overpowered figs being a little bit more costly. It feels better to me, even if I'm going against it and I lose against it. I don't know. I something sits weird with me with low point figs that can do way too much.
Well, we've got
And
so many figures. Like we were talking about going through this set. You have a bunch of figures here that cost a lot, but there's probably 1 or 2 low point figures that can do it, and they do it a little bit better because
yeah,
it's their specialized area. Like any piece that has barrier going forward is going to be compared to Molecule Man.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you look into that, and you hit it right. It's just, you want to pay 100 points for this fig, but whenever a 60-point figure does it even better, like it kind of pigeonholes you
Hmm.
into. But I guess that's the meta game too, right? Like, I mean, you're the absolute best pieces of absolutely every set for absolutely every keyword, and trying to make that work or making that work. It just, but that's been the age old tale kind of thing, like the meta has been pretty limited no matter what era of HeroClix we kind of went into. I mean,
Hmm.
one of my one of my first meta experiences was with Unimind, and man, that was a I don't know, that one at our venue in Springfield. I think
Yeah, we shared
out
that
of
one
like
together. I think everyone played Unimind. Like it was just
everyone everyone except for one person I came against played Unimind, and he played the Shredder, the Shredders.
I remember playing against one guy that played Goblin King.
Oh yeah, well that was slowly going out too
Yeah.
because of
Well, he
Unimind.
just
Yeah,
had
yeah,
that
yeah,
errata. He just got an
yeah.
errata saying that he
Yep,
didn't
yep,
have
yep.
cosmic energy or something.
So I don't know if it's even possible because I know WizKids has a tall order to fill if that is even a thing. But whenever you're projecting putting out a new set every 2 or 3 months, it just there's a lot of fluff in it, and I
Hmm.
don't know if I want them to like kind of slow down that release window and like put a little bit more effort into the figs. Um, Effort might be a strong word. I don't know, maybe a little bit more time and consideration. And something we've talked about before. Let's jump back to the slop and look at that magic real quick. You said this in one of your YouTube videos already that WizKids has a kind of a reputation of not looking back to previous figs or previous equipment that could potentially make something broken.
Well, they do
Um,
they do that on purpose and it's for a reason, but I'm not sure what the reason is, and I don't think we've gotten a good answer on the why for that.
yeah,
But they that is a general rule that they have is that they don't look at past sets whenever they're creating the current one.
sure,
And
sure.
as far as changing the meta with this set, I'm going to say it's going to take 2 or 3 sets just like this one for the meta to change.
Yeah,
It just
absolutely. I
is.
100% agree. And time too, right? As
Hmm.
soon as
And
soon as my Jubilee
I will
rotates
say
out.
X of Swords, it doesn't have a lot of meta pieces, just like this one doesn't. So maybe
No.
that's something that they've been trying to implement in the past couple
Sure.
sets as well, because the only real meta pieces in X of Swords are Annihilation and Mad Jim Jaspers, and Annihilation really isn't that great of a figure. He just pops out.
Yeah.
He just enables, one of the best pieces
Sure.
in the meta, which is Legacy
Sure.
Apocalypse.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and then I mean, you got all the equipment too that is causing a big shift in the game, and tarot cards, which is awesome.
Hmm.
But I think what I'm saying is like, and I know we're kind of getting off from this set, but it's just one of those things where I wouldn't mind them, extending that almost double the time in between sets so we can see these figures, like Miss Marvel on here who's supposed to be like super amazing in the comics, and it's a 70-point figure with charge of 10 and 11 attack. And that's what we're doing with 70-point fig. I
Hey,
don't know.
she's not bad.
I mean, are you playing her on any of your competitive teams?
She's an Avenger, dude. I gotta look at it. Like
You
I
ain't
said,
wrong.
I'm reaching. You over there with
Yeah,
your
yeah.
freaking Venom Magneto for 35 points. Let me pull out my
Yeah,
35-point Miss
yeah.
Marvel.
I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to hear it.
Yeah,
Just
because you're tired of
as
hearing
long
it.
as you have Sakari and Iron Man, you really have no room to talk at all, sir.
He's my saving
Uh,
grace.
yeah, yeah. But back to the set, man, I'm excited. I love how I love how they are spending more time on the figures themselves, the looks of the figures and stuff like that. Gosh, we had the void pulled in our sealed, and a second place to my favorite King Shazam. But
Hmm.
Void Sentry, the sculpt on that thing looks absolutely disgusting.
It really
So
does. Yeah, if
it,
he was holding a skull, it would be.
yeah, it would be very comparable to mine. But I mean, again, that's another fig that I mean, I mean, the Void is supposed to be one of the most powerful kind of anti-hero villain things ever. And in our in our gameplay, 100 points, and you got hypersonic and 12 penetrating psychic blast, and it's awesome. But for 7 clicks, 100 points, I mean,
Well,
that's again,
once you go up against a piece with pen psych or
yeah,
exploit weakness, that impervious doesn't count for anything.
doesn't count for anything.
If he
So
had invincible top dial, then yeah, we'd be talking. But
yeah, absolutely. And again, it's just one of those things. I don't know if we need to, or uh, Wiz Kids needs to kind of look a little bit more into it. But like, again, taking time to kind of balance out the figs in a way that, there's potentially more figs in a set that are competitive. And maybe that's just me
that's what
reaching.
I mean though. Going forward into the future of what they're trying to do in the meta, and none of us can say for sure what they're trying to do. But if this is going to be the trend, then you can kind of see the you can kind of see where this is going to end up.
Hmm.
They're just trying to draw back on the power creep, and they're
Yeah,
doing a decent job of it because the sentry is borderline playable,
sure.
but it's not because we have Emperor Gladiator, who's a prime super rare for 100 points, right? With a
Yeah.
lot of the same. Well, he has the cosmic keyword. That's about it. But Emperor Gladiator is just that much better. So you can kind of see where they're starting to go with it. They're trying to draw back by introducing reintroducing the traits that can swap into another character instead of KO,
Yeah.
so that it introduces a stop click without it being called a stop click, that kind of
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yep.
so I think they're you know I I hate to draw too much conjecture talking about this when we really should just be talking about the pieces in the set. But if we'll have to see what comes out with Batman Team Up. I assume they're going to want to make that set a really good, just top level meta, just because it will be the only DC set going forward after rotation.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what they do in that set, and that will, probably define what they're going to do in the meta going forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, no, and I agree with you. I hope this is the direction. This set is awesome. There's a lot of really fun pieces to play with. I hope that this is a continuation of what we're going to see. Less, I don't know, not necessarily less broken pieces, but just the point to power level kind of balance that the set is bringing. I don't hate it at all.
Mhm.
I don't hate it at all. And I'm kind of excited to see, what else is to come. But we will see, and we'll play our games and have our fun and blow things up, and that'll be awesome. And uh, that's kind of where we're at.
So real quick, Josh, you got a case coming in or a brick?
Uh, I haven't pre-ordered anything.
Okay. Are you gonna buy any of this set, or are you holding out?
I already bought that brick, so
Mm-hmm.
I probably am not going to be buying a case
Ooh,
or a
shoot.
brick.
Wow.
Probably not.
Fair enough.
Uh, just because there's no Illuminatis to be had.
Wow.
I'm
He's a purist.
I
He's
think
a
I am,
purist.
man. I didn't think so, but as soon as that's, well, I don't even know what's going to happen whenever Professor X gets rotated out. I think I don't know. They better have something else coming quick behind it. But no,
I'm sure they'll probably introduce a bunch of more swaps.
yeah,
Like
and
someone was
that's what.
talking about Spider-Man family having the
Hmm.
Spider-Man family keywords changes, and
Yeah,
then along with a Spider-Man family swap.
sure, and no, and that's what I
It's
was
just,
hoping. Well, that's too much brain power.
you
I
know what?
mean, you
I'll probably
get.
switch over to that if that happens. It's because
I know you would. I
I
know you
love
would.
team building.
And that's one thing too about this set. I was actually kind of surprised we didn't see a swap in this set at all.
Hmm.
So, I mean, even if it doesn't consist of X-Men, I mean, I think that swap mechanic is so good just because, um, it helps like answer the opposition, right? Like
Well,
even if
you
you
go
don't
into a
get
tournament and you understand that there's this team and this team that if I play against, I'm probably going to
Mhm.
lose. With a swap, you have counters against those teams.
Yeah, and those swap teams are as good as you can get them to be, right? Like I mean, as far as playing them goes, because there are so many moving parts to swaps. Like it's just a lot of brain power, like I said,
The
goes
hardest
into
part
them.
about running a swap is, letting your opponent know what each piece is worth
Oh,
when they KO it.
the 30-minute process that you
Yeah.
have to go through at the beginning, yeah. So that's one thing I was kind of excited to see out of this set that I was kind of let down that I didn't get to see. Is if they were going to do some sort of swap with this set, but it's okay. It's okay. They gave some halfway decent pieces for the Avengers swap and things like that. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this set, man.
Okay. If you could have one chase, which chase would you go for?
Oh, if I could have one chase, I think it'd be the Ghost Panther, only because I bought the 1 million BC Ghost Rider,
Mhm.
and I think both those sitting on my desk will look pretty fat together, dude. They would look so good. Almost like a saber tooth looking like thing next to a woolly mammoth thing. It'd be awesome.
So, draw away from TIE Fighter's discussion about this whole set is only good for putting on your shelf.
uh, sure.
No, no, no. This set is just fun, guys, and
It is
it's
just
fun.
fun.
It's
And
fun.
one just to reiterate, I had a lot of fun coming off the slop and stuff that we've been playing into the sealed event that we did, just because the pieces felt better to play against each other.
Yes.
And um, I love competitive. I love meta play, but I love sealed events too. And if there is a sealed event where everybody opens stuff like we did, and nobody pulls a completely overpowered piece that just when you look at it, like, oh, this is
Yeah,
a
I was
very
about to. Well, I was
uphill
about to
battle
say
the entire.
we're just lucky nobody pulled the 200-point Hulk or Iron Man
Oh yeah, well the 250 red Dormammu
or
red,
the
yeah.
Thanos. Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. So I mean, dodging bullets is kind of a thing too, but
Hmm.
it was still good. We had a good time with it. So,
Yeah, yeah. All right, buddy.
but I
Thanks for
just want
coming.
to say thank
Yep.
you too, man. That's what I want to say. Thank you
Oh,
for inviting me. It was fun talking about it. I know we got off on a little tangent and probably got on a soapbox about hopes and dreams and wishes with hero clicks, but that's what we do, and that's what we like to do, man.
yeah, dude. Um, but at the end of the day, them's the rules, them's the pulls, and that's HeroClix, dude. You
It
just you
is.
just can't do anything about it. Got to keep rolling.
Yeah, the probability control, man. Get it.
Uh, well, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
All
right,
right,
buddy.
buddy.
Yep.
I'll talk to you later, man.
Peace out, man.